The Mirage Blade Fox. Chapter 1. Mistresses. Stupid Uchiha-loving teams Naruto thought for the 100th time. The day had been like any other, unfortunately. Flashback. He had arrived in Training Ground 7 at their usual meeting time as usual. After waiting for a few hours, their sensei finally arrived. After they listened to his lame excuse for the day, they took a D-ranked mission. How is pulling weeds a mission? Once they had finished, they did an hour of teamwork exercise. Well, Naruto tried to work with them. All he received was insults and punches to the head. "Alright, that's enough training for the day," spoke their so-called sensei. "Kakashi-sensei, when are we going to learn a jutsu or take a real mission?" asked Naruto. "Sorry Naruto, but you're not ready for either." He spoke, never looking up from his book. "You need to increase your chakra." "How?" he insisted. "You haven't taught us how." "You'll figure it out, try asking Sasuke or Sakura, they have good chakra control." He answered, or didn't, before he shined away. He turned to look toward his team in hopes of help. Unfortunately, they were preoccupied. "Sasuke-kun, would you like to go on a date?" asked Sakura. "No," he answered before walking away to brood more. "I'll go on that date with you, Sakura-chan." Naruto tried. His response was a punch in the head. "Why would I go on a date with you, Naruto baka?" Turning back, she ran after the Uchiha. "Wait," he called, stopping her. "Do you think you could help me with my chakra control?" "Why should I help you?" she asked. "It wouldn't do a dobe like you any good. You were a failure in the academy, and you'll be a failure as a ninja." With that, she walked off, leaving a hurt Naruto. Flashback end. As the memories continued to replay in his head, he came upon his destination. It was one of his favorite spots, a safe haven. It was one of the few he had away from the hateful villagers. It had a waterfall that flowed into a river that reached his knees. He would often fish here when he couldn't afford Ichiraku ramen. There was an empty field with a bit of wildlife. The field also held an array of plants and berries he liked ate. His favorite part was the large and deep cave behind the waterfall. The water came inside, making a little pool. The rest was a dry place to rest. He would often hide or camp here when he needed or wanted to. It was partly because of this place he hadn't starved. Why he had shelter when his home was wrecked by villagers. A home from home. He even had a small family here. "Hey, I'm here," he called. As soon as the words left his mouth, he felt for light impacts to his chest. They didn't hurt, but it was enough to knock him over. As he tried to straighten himself out, he felt as they crawled around inside his jumpsuit. He quickly pulled them out and set them down. "Not even a hello before you go looking for treats?" he asked in mock hurt. When they lowered their heads in shame, he smirked. Reaching into his pocket, he pulled out a few pieces of dried fish. Once they laid eyes on it, they dove for it. He sighed happily as he watched them eat. Foxes, it was ironic that they were his closest family. After the Kyuubi attack, foxes were illegal in Konoha. Most people would just kill them out of spite. That made it hard for them to survive since the villagers hated them. Not him, he happily did his best to help take care of them since they were alike. Hated for something they had no control over. The oldest female was the mother. Her name was Aki for her constant autumn coat. The oldest male was the father. His name was Jin for the patch of silver on his head. It was more pronounced thanks to his black fur. The youngest son took after the father. His fur was black with a silver collar. That's how he got the name Eriko. The older sister was an enigma. She didn't take after either parent. Her fur was a constant snow white. He decided to call her Midori thanks to her grass-green eyes. He then undressed as he laid himself into the stream. Bracing his feet into rocks, he closed his eyes and relaxed. This way he wouldn't float off, but stayed relaxed. He felt the foxes lay down beside him. He loved the flow of the water on his body. The feel of nature to his senses. The peace of seclusion. It was here that he could let his mask drop. "It's right over here, girls," came an unfamiliar female call that was heading toward him. "That's just not fair," he growled. He quickly grabbed his clothes and started putting them on. Once Naruto was dressed, he moved deeper into the cave with the foxes. It was one of the problems with being here. The place was practically boxed off. Once inside, there was only exit. Unfortunately, one way was occupied by whoever they were. He didn't want to have a run-in with whoever they were. Something told him they were ninja. He was always good at telling who was a civilian or not. These were definitely not. He sat and waited. See, I told you, this entire place is great. And you're sure this place is away from perverted eyes? Positive, I'll even have the triplets scout the area while we're here. Relax, Nai-chan, if there are any perverts we'll give them the beating of a lifetime that doesn't stop them, and I think some are enjoying it. Okay, there are 4 women, most likely kunoichi. Then there are the triplets, maybe pets. He decided to move further into the cave. He really didn't want to be seen. Unfortunately, our blonde ninja forgot his bright attire. Hey! Who's there? Show yourself. What's wrong, Anko? Stay calm, maybe they didn't see me. I saw a hideously orange color. I think someone's in there. Darn it. Come on out. Hannah think the triplets can drag them out. No need, he called. He took a deep breath and allowed his mask to reform as he motioned for the foxes to hide. Then slowly and cautiously he made his way out. As he stepped out he saw who caught him. Who are you, Gaki? Asked the one closest. Naruto Uzumaki, future Hokage, spoke on instinct. And you are? I'm the sexy and single Anko Mitarashi. The first spoke Snake Mistress of Konoha. I'm Yuga Yuzuki Kenjutsu Mistress of Konoha, came the second. I'm Karina Yuhi. The now named Anko seemed to urge her for more Genjutsu Mistress of Konoha. She continued with a sigh. I'm Hana Inuzuka, started the last, the second Hound Princess of Konoha. Yuga was a woman with purple, violet hair that came to her waist and chocolate brown eyes. She seemed to be wearing reddish-purple lipstick. She was wearing standard umbu clothing. Something about her seems familiar. Kurenai had long, black wavy, shoulder-length hair. She seemed to be wearing an outfit that looked to be made of bandages. Her hand and upper thighs were wrapped in the same material. Her eyes were what stood out the most to Naruto. They were an odd but truly beautiful shade of red. She seems familiar as well. Anko had light brown, pupil-less eyes. Her hair was black with a tint of violet, styled in a short, wild ponytail. She was wearing a tan trench coat and a mesh bodysuit under it. Over it was a dark orange mini skirt. Never seen her before. Hannah had long brown in a ponytail with 2 locks hanging in front of her face. Her eyes were an average black. She had a light shade of pink-red lipstick and Inuzuka markings. She was wearing a beige medic uniform. Those markings mean that she's related to Kiba. Their headbands proved what he feared. They were all kunoichi. What are you doing here? Are you spying on us? Asked Yugao. He didn't answer. How about we play with him, offered Anko. We won't go all out, just teach him a lesson for what he's done. Anko, he's just a genin. Stated Yugao. If he doesn't learn his lesson now he could grow to be worse than Jiraiya. Stated Kurenai. None of them could deny that. Besides, he'll just heal. The truth was she didn't care about that. She just wanted the boy to suffer for what he did. Tell your friends to come out as well. Ordered Hannah. What friends? I'm here alone. He lied. My companions here say they smell others, stated Hannah. Bring them, put, or they'll be dragged out. Naruto stood defiantly. Just do it, Hannah called. Anko the Gaki is too stubborn to listen. With just a gesture one of the triplets were making their way toward the cave entrance. Not wanting his friends hurt, Naruto stood in front of the approaching canine. He glared at the dog with such intensity that it actually started to whimper. After a few more seconds he ran back behind Hannah and his siblings. Anko, seeing the distraction, decided to have a little fun. She threw a kunai. Thanks to all of his years of living through the hate of Konoha, Naruto gained an extra sense. It was one that warned him of danger. It was warning him now. Ducking his head he avoided the kunai. As he stood right he felt slender but powerful arms wrap around his neck holding his head still. Struggle as he might he couldn't get free. Hold him tight, Anko, he heard one of the women shout. The triplets will drag whoever's in there out. Wait, he begged, he didn't want his only friends to be hurt because of him. Don't hurt them, asked Kurenai. Go got them, boys. Ordered Hannah. As the triplets closed in on the entrance, Anko decided to have a little more fun. Whoever is in there is in for a world of pain. Leaning toward his ear she whispered, right, Foxy-kun. At hearing the name his blood ran cold. They know about Kyubi? That's why they're here. It was replaced by boiling rage. Using what little chakra control he had, he directed it to his arms. With all the power he could muster, he pried Anko's arms open. He broke free. Spinning in a full 180, he kicked Anko in the stomach. The blow didn't harm her, but it was enough to stun her. To say the Kunoichian dogs were shocked would be an understatement. Anko was a jounin, a special jounin perhaps, but a jounin all the same. To see a mere genin force his way free was truly amazing. Putting his hands in a cross form, he shouted his signature technique. Shadow Clone Jutsu. At the name, 10 solid clones appeared. They took a protective stance in front of the cave. So the little gaki wants to play, huh? Asked Anko. Well, let's play. Charging forward, Naruto threw 2 exploding tags toward the women. As they scattered to avoid the explosion, the clones charged. This is getting out of hand, spoke Yugao as she dodged another kunai. We have to restrain him. They nodded in agreement. Hey, Red Hannah called. You're not the only with moves. Weaving her clan's hand signs, she called. Man, beast, clone. At the name, the brothers jumped to her side and went up in smoke. When they were visible, it was revealed that they took her form. After weaving more signs, they all dropped to all 4. Ninja art, beast mimicry, all 4's jutsu. They charged forward before jumping into the air. Multi-fong over fong. All 4 Hannas began to spin, taking a blurry, drill-alike form. The attacks then began to rotate around each other as they charged forward. They tore through the clones. Naruto saw the direction of the attack. They were heading toward the caves. He knew what he had to do. Thinking he would just jump out of the way, the Hannas pressed the attack. To her surprise, he only put his arms up to defend himself and stood defiantly. He'll move, she thought, as did the rest. He'll move. He'll jump away. Move already. He didn't. Move, Yubaka, Hannah called, but he didn't, and it was too late to stop their attack. Each Hannah hit Naruto full on. They tore through his clothes and his body. He fell to his knees bleeding. Once the attack ended, the real Hannah turned to ask why he took the attack. Or at least she tried to. As soon as she turned, she saw a kunai fly past her, a kunai with a tag. Each Hannah barely had enough time to cover themselves in a coat of chakra. It was enough to save them from the explosion. The blast knocked them each far back in a different direction. They transformed back and were unconscious before they hit the dirt. Naruto would have continued if it weren't for Anko, striking shadow snakes. Multiple snakes ejected themselves from Anko's sleeve. Turning, he was able to see the attack, but not dodge. The snakes each coiled around his limb and various parts of his body. Each snake then latched onto Naruto with their fangs. He felt the burning sensation as the venom spread through his body. The poisons in these snakes aren't lethal, but they do cause great pain. Stated Anko cheerfully. To her continued amazement, Naruto had more surprises. Using his very will and chakra, he moved his hands together. She herself added chakra to strengthen her technique, but it wasn't enough. Not when facing a host of a tailed beast. This gaki has more chakra than even me. Shadow Clone Jutsu. Summoning 4 clones, he smirked. Kurenai Genjutsu, ordered Yuga now. Kurenai began weaving. They each drew a kunai and cut through the snakes, freeing the original. They gave a cry as they rushed forward. Anko drew another 2 kunai and took aim. Not know which was the real one, Anko threw them toward non-lethal spots. They both hit their mark. The first hit a clone, dispelling it. The second hit Naruto in his upper leg. It embedded itself deep, drawing blood. The pain was only intensified from the venom. Anko cried, Kurenai, you stopped my genjutsu before it set in. Oops, sorry about that, Nai-chan, apologized the sheepish snake mistress. He continued forward, not even losing speed, with only a limp and slight flinch to show he was hurt. The remaining 2 of them proceeded to henge into demon windmill shurikens. Looking at his opponents, he took aim. Need to get rid of the biggest threat. With a spin to build up momentum, he threw it with all his might. It flew past the snake mistress and the Kenjutsu mistress. He was aiming for Kurenai. She had to admit, she was impressed. Naruto was holding his own, he even managed to take out Hannah and the triplets. Turning her head, she let the giant weapon fly past her. She never noticed it graze her cheek. But it's not enough. The shadow windmill henge flew right past her, lodged itself into a tree. It dispelled itself a second after contact. Kurenai, asked a hesitant Yugao, are you okay? In her confusion, she felt a warm moisture drip down her cheek. Bring her hand out, she felt the spot and pulled her hand back. There was a light stinging sensation. She looked at her hand, blood. That henge. It was real. She stated in shock. A real illusion. That should be completely impossible. Even the sum of the greatest Genjutsu users in the world can't make a real illusion. Naruto prepared the second shuriken. As he prepared to throw it, something clamped down and stopped his arm. Painfully. It caused him to drop and dispel his clone. Looking at what stopped him, he saw that one of the triplets had latched its fangs around his arm. He felt a second latch onto his one of legs. The final blow came from Hana herself. She tackled Naruto from behind, pinning him under her legs. She held a kunai to his throat, forcing him to be still. I've had enough of this, she snarled. We'll find out who you're hiding. As soon as the words left her mouth, the final brother stepped forward, out of the cave. What Naruto saw in the dog's mouth horrified him. It made his blood go cold in his very veins. It was the foxes. The dog was dragging their bodies out by their tails. No, no, he pleaded. This can't be happening, not them. No, Aki, Jin, Eriko, Midori. When they didn't respond, his fear was taken. In its place, he was given hatred. It was raw and uncontrolled hatred. It was so much that he even started to pull on chakra from the Kyuubi. This isn't good, the Kunoichi thought as one. They didn't know what to do as they watched the red chakra become visible. All they wanted to do was punish a pervert. Now things were truly out of hand. He knocked Hana and the two triplets off just by simply standing. There were burn marks on them as well from Kyuubi's corrosive chakra. He dashed toward the family of foxes. When the remaining triplet saw the approaching Naruto, it dropped the foxes and fled. As he knelt down to them, he calmed himself down. The Kyuubi's chakra began to disappear. He was angry, but he wasn't blind. He saw what had happened to Hana and her dogs. Come on guys, get up, he pleaded. He wanted his family to be okay. Come on, you guys are all I have. They didn't move, they all just laid there, unmoving and lifeless. He reached for them but pulled back when his blood fell on them. He didn't want to let Kyuubi's influence touch them. He turned his attentions back to his attackers. They flinched at the level of hate in his glare. He felt both his rage and Kyuubi's chakra return, with a vengeance. It was more potent. You could even see a fox head grin at them. Damn it, he's drawing on the fox and Hana is out. No choice. Everyone, we need to end this, no more holding back, spoke Kurenai. I need a distraction. Come on, Naruto shouted, I'll take you all on. Anko went first. Jumping high into one of the trees, she yelled. Multiple striking shadow snakes. As the name said, multiple snakes flew toward him, much more than the first time. However, they weren't aimed for him. They were aimed for the foxes. He rushed back to their side to take the blow. As the snakes hit dead on, it seemed that the masses of them consumed Naruto and the foxes. With a mighty roar, he sent out a shock wave of chakra. It tore through the mass of snakes, leaving only shreds behind. He stood under their falling parts, not losing an ounce of hate. Not even uttering a command or forming signs, a clone popped into existence. As soon as it formed, it became another windmill shuriken. Giving a mighty heave, he threw it toward Kurenai. She made to dodge it, but didn't count on its angle. To her surprise, it turned as she did, cleaving her in half. Kurenai, cried Yugo in disbelief before schooling herself. Your umbu, so control yourself. Yugo, cried Hana, they could use some help now. Running forward, the Kenjutsu mistress performed her name Sake. As she came in range, she raised the weapon high in the air. She intended to knock him unconscious with her sheath. As she came into striking distance, Naruto made his move. Stretch his arm out, he grabbed her arm. Adding pressure to her wrist, he forced her to lower her sword, but she didn't drop it. But it was enough. Grabbing the sheath, he yanked it free. Holding the blade's sheath, he took a stance. He then started hacking away at her, or would have. Thanks to years of practice, she was ready. She was able to dodge or block every single strike. His stance and form are great, she thought, for an amateur. He must have a great teacher. If only she knew. Unfortunately, it was because of that experience that she did what she did. Out of pure instinct, she dropped back and lashed at him. She cut him across the eye, causing a short grunt, probably ruining it permanently. But it didn't stop him. He was too angry to feel any pain. Not that he would have anyway. He stopped suddenly. Something was holding him in place. Looking at his restraints, he saw vines. He struggled against them, he even hit them with the sheath, but they just carried him off the ground. Now he had no leverage. String bean bind illusion. Looking toward the one who named the attack, he saw a giant bean pod. As it opened, Kurenai stepped out. This is a Genjutsu from the Kurama clan. You won't be getting out that easily. What are you doing? Asked an aged but powerful voice. Release him. They turned to the source of the voice. Standing before them was the Hokage. And he was angry. Kurenai stepped forward. Hokage-sama, she was cut off. That was an order, he stated. She did as she was told. As soon as he was free, he charged Kurenai. With a powerful jab, he struck her in the stomach with the sheath. He continued charging, painfully pushing Kurenai along the dirt. Coming to a sudden stop, he drew the sheath back. Kurenai dropped to her knees, gasping in pain. Raising the sheath, he brought it down across her face. She was out cold as she hit the ground. He prepared another strike when he felt the familiar sensation of fangs biting into him. We're done here, Gaki, stated Anko. Dropping the sheath, he grabbed two of the snake. With a might heave, he pulled Anko free from the tree, but he didn't stop there. He kept pulling, and with a spin he aimed her. She crashed face first into the downed Hana. Turning, he looked toward Yugao. And then there was one. He stated coldly. That won't be necessary, Naruto-kun. Turning to the voice, he saw a rush of red and white. 5-pronged seal. He felt an intense pain in his stomach where he had been struck. As the chakra faded, so did his consciousness. Chapter 2, Apology. After removing the seal from Naruto, they stood outside of the hospital room. Inside was Naruto resting after the ordeal. The doctors had checked him over. They say he'll be up in the morning. He doesn't need this. He had allowed his surrogate grandchild the secret. Hiruzen was always aware of Naruto's comfort spot. It had kept him sustained, so he saw no reason he couldn't have it. It was out of the way, so Naruto had all the peace he could want or need. Until now, it was a good thing he made regular checkups on him. Of all the irresponsible and stupid, Harented. The four kunoichi stared at their village leader. They felt an immeasurable amount of shame from their action. Do any of you have anything to say? He asked. They each flinched at his cold tone. They were used to their kind and soft-spoken leader's warm tone. Not this cold tone that could cut even steel. I have never felt this disappointed in you three, he stated. You two especially. He pointed to Anko and Yugao. What do you? Asked Hana, but was stopped by his glare. Yugao, you used to protect him as his personal umbu guard when he was a child, the only one that would. He whispered the last part. Why? It was true. All of the other umbu would sit back and let the civilian and ninja beat on Naruto. On many occasions, they would often join in. She was the only one that would save him, both on and off duty. I am sorry, Hokage-sama. Was all she could say. You will turn in your mask. You are on suspended, he stated. You will return to regular duty as a jounin. I understand, she stated. Anko, you know his pain. It was all he said, causing her to reach for her neck. It was all he needed to say. Anko wasn't very well liked in the village thanks to her sensei. She was used by him, blamed for all of his crimes. She even had a burden that she never wanted. Now here was one of the few people that accepted her, now utterly ashamed of her. She couldn't feel lower. Hokage-sama, they would start but never finished. They were too ashamed. Anko, I was going push to let become a full jounin, but for now you will remain a special jounin. He stated. Hana, you will be put on leave from the vet and your mother informed. Kurenai, you and your genin team will be receiving the most humiliating D-ranked missions for half pay. How long, Hokage-sama? Asked Hana. The Hokage Hiruzen Sarutobi sighed. He leaned back as disappointment replaced the anger. The years became visible on the powerful leader. Until Naruto forgives all four of you, he answered, not a moment sooner. Understood, Hokage-sama, they stated in unison. Be in my office first thing in the morning. With nothing left to say, he left via Shunshin. They all walked home to wait for him to regain consciousness. They needed to find a good way to apologize. They planned and worked the remainder of the day away. The next day Hiruzen made his way toward the hospital only to find Naruto asleep. He waited but not long. When he awoke he only asked, am I in heaven or hell? Neither, you're alive, Hiruzen answered. How do you feel? Okay, good, come with me. He grabbed Naruto Shushined to his office. When Naruto looked around he found himself surrounded by his attackers. They expected him to shout out, attack or even panic. He did none of these, he only looked at them. Who ordered you to kill me? He asked so offhandedly, it scared them. What? Asked Kurenai. Don't play dumb. Was it the shinobi or the civilian council? He snapped. Neither. Enko answered. Does it happen so often that he can be so casual? I would be out for blood. So you all just hate me as well? He simply stated. No, shouted Yuga. None of us have anything against you at all. Right, girls, they all agreed. Then why? He growled. Why attack me? Why kill my only piece? Why kill them? The foxes? Asked Hana. Yes, he answered blankly. They aren't dead, she stated. When I found them they were healed to near full health. I healed them the rest of the way. She added proudly. Why? He asked in shock. How? We Inuzuka don't hurt canine if we can avoid it. What she had her companions did to the foxes have shamed her so much. Her mother was so angry that she took the triplets from her until the Hokage's punishment was over. She even made Hana go back to help the foxes. That's how she knew they were alive. She is telling the truth, Naruto, stated their leader. It seems that when your blood fell onto them and has some healing properties, we will have to do some tests later. Please hear them out. Thank you, he stated. They are very important to me. When Hana took a discreet look at the Hokage, she asked with her eyes, did I do good? The glare he gave was all the answer of a hell no. We don't hate you, Naruto, not for your problem. Stated Kurenai, hoping to avoid mentioning the Kyuubi. That's why we're here, to apologize for what we did. Furball has brought me a lot of hate. I'm used to it, he stated. I do want to know why though. We thought you were a pervert, stated Anko. We have a history of being violent with perverts. It's true, thought Hiruzen. Some of those poor souls never made it home, however the ones that did never peeked again. Except Jiraiya, not even Tsunade could stop him. That's a relief, and I agree wholeheartedly with your actions, stated Naruto, cheerfully shocking the Kunoichi. Hey old man, can I go now? The Kunoichi were shocked at the complete emotion change. Even more so that he had forgiven them. Are you saying you forgive us? Asked Yuga. Yep, just like that. He forgave us just like that? He's so different from what the reports say. Thought Kurenai before realization hit. He's wearing a mask. She looked toward her friend Enko, just like Enko. Wait, I have something for you. Reaching into this desk drawer, he pulled out a few sheets of paper. This is the deed to 3 acres of land, so you are now the sole owner of that area. He held up a second sheet. This is a copy just in case. Can you guess the center of those 3 acres? The happiness in Naruto was indescribable. He was being given the land that had been like a home to him and more, so much more. There was only one way he could properly thank his leader. Thank you, Hokage-sama, spoke Naruto through a deep bow. To say that Sarutobi was shocked was an understatement. Naruto, as in Naruto Uzumaki, had been respectful. He quickly recomposed himself before sadly asking, this isn't going to happen often, is it? No way, old man, shouted Naruto, just on special occasions. It was good to dream, mused the leader, but I'll get him to give me proper respect one of these days. The aged leader swore. Well, I'll see you later. Opening a window, the blonde boy jumped out. His shouts of happiness could still be heard from inside. The leader turned back toward the Kunoichi. Well, he asked to get out there and apologize, he ordered. But she was stopped by his glare. Not good enough. His tone ran them right out of the window behind Naruto. I meant through the door. He whispered to himself. Reaching into his desk, he pulled out his crystal ball. He would make sure that they properly did as he ordered. If it happens to get me out of doing paperwork, then it's that much better. Naruto couldn't be happier. Even the glares from the villagers couldn't bring him down. He finally had something that was his and couldn't be taken by the villagers. He saw his teammates come into view, even their sensei was there. I must be late. He decided to hide the deed to his sanctuary, better safe than sorry. He thought as he placed it in his pouch. Hello Kakashi-sensei, Sakura-chan, team. He greeted Baka. You're late, she screeched as she punched Naruto in the head, and don't talk about Sasuke-kun like that. That is starting to get annoying. He thought. Why are you late, Dobe? Asked the Uchiha. Because of you I couldn't get a mission. You also missed team practice, spoke their sensei, never looking from his book. It's not good for a shinobi to be late, Naruto. Now that is the pot calling the kettle black. Answer me, Dobe, ordered the Uchiha. If you must know, team. Baka punch. I was in the hospital. Well, since you missed the mission and training, the day is over. Probably tripped and fell on your own kunai. He spoke before walking off, missing Naruto's smirk. I got into a fight with a few jounin, he retorted, much to Sasuke's ire. There is no way a dead last like you could fight anyone, he snapped. Yeah, Naruto baka, screeched the howler monkey, only Sasuke-kun can fight a jounin, so stop lying. Actually, a calm voice intoned, he worked us over pretty good. Even if we were holding ourselves back, was the Uchiha's reply. Why are you four here, asked Kakashi, putting his book away. He'd read in front of one or even two of them, but not all four. We want the boy, stated Kurenai with a bit of an edge. After seeing the book, more training, spoke the Uchiha, stepping forward. Perfect, not you, we want Naruto-kun, stated Hana. Why are they calling him Kun? Why would you want that baka, screeched Sakura. Sasuke-kun is so much better in every way. But he's mine. Shut her up before I go, death, begged Hana. Her enhanced hearing were driving her crazy. Let's go, Naruto-kun called Yugao. I demand to know what you want with that dobe instead of me, an Uchiha, an elite, ordered an arrogant Uchiha. He froze when he felt a cold steel of a kunai against his neck. You think you can give us demands, eh? Asked Enko as she cut his cheek and licked his blood before spitting it out. Oh, that is the foulest blood I've ever tasted. Hey, you get away from my Sasuke-kun, screeched Sakura, and his blood is not foul, it's amazing. I wonder what yours is like, she spoke, freezing Sakura. Let's find out, she said, taking a threatening step forward. What? She looked around to see her sensei wouldn't help and Sasuke frozen. Only the baka, smirking inwardly, she put on her most pitiful face. You wouldn't let them hurt me, would you, Naruto-kun? He only stared at her. Save me already, you baka. Tell these hussies to get lost. Please leave Sasuke and Sakura alone. Kakashi finally spoke. I need my best students in full health, he said, ignoring Naruto's feelings. Fine, sighed a mock-depressed Enko, but I'll get her blood, she vowed to herself. Yugo grabbed onto Naruto, and the four kunoichi shu shined away. They arrived inside an empty training area. Whoa, what was that? Can you teach me? He asked. The kunoichi stared at him. Even through his mask they could see he wanted to learn. A kid will always be a kid. Drop the mask, Gaki ordered Enko. Enko, that's Yugo started. I'll drop mine if you drop yours, he stated, gaining a shocked glare from Enko. Not many could see through hers, but her friends and those with a similar mask. Naruto-kun, we as in Enko, Yugo, Hana, and I feel awful about yesterday. Kurenai motioned to each, so we want to make it up to you, each of us. If it's out of pity, then save it, he stated coldly. I don't need pity from anyone. It's not, Gaki stated Enko. We don't do anything out of pity. That earned her a smile, a real smile. Where shall we? Hana was cut off by a deep rumble sound. It seemed to echo from Naruto and cause him to shake. Was that your stomach? Enko asked in disbelief. Naruto had actually blushed from it. Well, I haven't eaten since yesterday, he answered sheepishly. How about buying me some food? He missed Enko's smirk. Here is a perfect chance for me to pay him off. I'll be a full jounin in no time. Well, Gaki, if you're hungry, let me introduce you to the greatest food ever made, she said with stars in her eyes. But I already know about ramen. Ramen, I'm talking about dango. Her mouth watered. The food of the gods. Ramen is the broth of truth and the noodles of hope. You poor misguided soul, she said with a shake of his head. Reaching into her trench coat, she pulled out a hissing snake. Allow me to convert you with pain. The three remained kunoichi watched in amusement as they went back and forth. They were a bit upset at the fact that Enko took the first chance of forgiveness. But the show mostly made up for it. They decided to stop things before they escalated to another brawl. Enko put the snake away. Naruto, no clones, ordered Yugo. How about we eat the ramen, offered Kurenai, receiving a betrayed glare from Enko. We eat dango so often, we need a change. She then gained a mischievous smile. You did say you were paying. To Ichiraku, shouted Naruto, dragging the four kunoichi. 18 bowls of ramen later, Enko was crying over her wallet. He's still going, she mentally shouted. Where is he putting it all? It also didn't help that she was paying for her friends as well. Yep, another bowl, Nechan. He froze when he saw the look in her eyes. The crazy snake lady is paying. Let me guess, you offered to pay for the whole meal, didn't you? Asked Ayam, the ramen cook's daughter. Yes, she answered, ignoring the snake lady named Nara-chan. You aren't going to break this nice lady's wallet, are you? He froze at the accusation. Crap, I've been found out. As the sweat poured down, he remained silent. And no, nothing like that at all. That's good to hear. Tucci spoke in his usual cheerful tone. It's good to see him with some friends and such beautiful ones, but that he eyed Naruto, I'd hate to ban him for being ungentlemanly. It's okay, Gaki here earned it, grinned Anko, leaning her impressive bust onto his head. Surely Naruto-kun brings team at least? Asked Hana, noticing him tense. Naruto-kun, huh? When did my number one customer become a player? Tucci asked, ignoring the question. It's not like that, they're just treating me as an apology for a misunderstanding, he answered. What happened? He asked, interested. We accused him without any evidence and were punished for it. Yugo answered, causing the four kunoichi to away ashamed. How would you ladies like to know a secret about Nara-chan's whiskers? I am asked in a mischievous way. This gained the interest of all the kunoichi. No, Nei-chan, he begged, just give them a rub. Spoke Tucci before walking into the back, ignoring Naruto's call of traitor. Wait, if you don't do it I'll pay for my own meal. He pleaded. Not happening, Gaki. Hana, hold him down. Anko ordered sadistically. Wait, Anko, I think you should take him up on that. Reasoned Hana, just look at how much he ate. As she looked at the piles of ramen bowls, her wallet started to feel very small. He had somehow eaten another 19 bowls. When did you? How did you? She looked him in the eyes. Why? You shouldn't turn your back on me, he chided. Remember, I'm the prankster from hell for a reason. Fine then, she growled, pay for your own meal. Look like I'll be a special jounin for a little longer. After an extra 2 bowls, Naruto paid for himself and the kunoichi. Kurenai's turn. Since you are a genin, we've decided to take you shopping for proper clothes. A real shinobi would never be caught dead in that monstrosity. They heard him mumble something under his voice. Could you please speak up, we can't hear you? Yugo requested. It's all the villagers let me buy. He repeated, they either sell me out of date or ruined stuff for over double the price, usually both. Anko lowered her head in understanding. She went through the same thing when her sensei left the village. No one wanted to do business for the snake whore. His mask jumped back on. It's not all bad, I actually like orange. I know a place that will sell to you. It's where I persuaded Anko to go. It's a shinobi-only store, so you can get clothes and weapons, but not food or household items. Spoke Kurenai. Where is it? What's it called? Can you show me? He asked almost desperately. Come on. Grabbing his arm, she shunshined them away. They reappeared in front of the shop. It was a wide one-story building with several wide windows. A symbol of a Chinese dragon coiling around a leaf sat on the center of the roof. There was one thing that really caught Naruto's attention. One of the windows were boarded, and it looked as if it had been boarded several times. This is the leaf dragon. Stated Anko. You can get anything for a shinobi here or have it custom made. Be it clothes and weapons to fighting styles and low mid-level jutsu. Walking inside, they were greeted by the owner standing behind a counter. He was a tall man with strong-looking hands and arms. He seemed to be going gray, but gave off the power of a man in his prime. He watched each customer with a calculative eye. There was a long scar running down his cheek. A new customer, huh? He asked. Who are you and what can I get you? Cough demon, cough brat, one of the customer hinted, not too subtly. Instantly Naruto turned to leave, but was stopped by a hand on his shoulder. Surprisingly, it wasn't from either of the kunoichi. The hand was from the owner. Excuse me a second, sir. He spoke kindly. This is going to be good. Giggled Anko. The owner calmly reached over the counter to the one that had broken the third's law. Grabbing him by the scruff of his neck, he hurled the man out the boarded window. Reaching under his counter, he easily pulled out a large twin-headed axe. Does anyone else want to insult my customer? He asked menacingly. I have plenty of windows. Silence. No one was crazy enough to say anything. A few people did leave quietly. They'll be back, they always come back. He ran one of the best shinobi stores in the village. Naruto, this is Daiki, he did the same for me the first day. Spoke Anko. Perfect shot, doesn't look like it. Spoke Hana. You missed the center. Wasn't aiming for the center, there was a rusty nail sticking out. He grinned. Like I said, gloated Anko. Perfect shot. Now what can I get you? He asked Naruto. Naruto was in a state of shock. Not only was this man allowing him to shop here, he had protected him. We want to get rid of this. She motioned to his jumpsuit and make him look like a proper shinobi. But leave some orange, he seems to like it. All right, kid. He spoke. Strip and spread, he ordered in a serious but slightly dark and sadistic tone. What? cried Naruto, ready to jump out the newly opened window. Wait, Naruto shouted Yuga over Daiki and Enko's laughter. I need to take proper measurements, he said, after calming down from his laughing fit. Your jumpsuit is too bulky. That's just how he pranks new customers, spoke Kurenai before sending him a glare and speaks to his longtime customers. You think you would have learned after all of the people you've run off or the kunoichi who've attacked you? Chastised Hana. This means war. Spoke Naruto low and sinisterly. He was the king of all pranksters in Konoha. He would not be a prank victim without retribution. No one pranks the prankster from hell and gets away with it. Now Daiki paled. He had heard how Naruto pranked people for revenge. They would always be remembered for their high degree of humiliation. No one shakes a bee's nest without getting stung, he thought. Wait, I'm sure we can reach an agreement. Daiki spoke, sweating heavily. I'm listening. I have an elite set of training weights in the back, he hurried. They only need chakra, so you won't have to take them off during battle. He explained. They're yours. For half off. I need to eat too. Naruto's mouth was watering at the prospect of those training weights. He could train at all times while doing the simplest of tasks. I'll get stronger in no time, believe it. Deal, he spoke with his best poker face as Naruto had his measurements taken. A thought occurred to him. It had been bugging him since they had picked him up from his team. They had given him an answer, but now he wanted the whole truth. Once the measurements were finished, Daiki went to the back. He chose that moment to ask. Why are you all doing this for me? He asked. I told you that I forgave each of you in the old man's office, so I want the real reason. We told you, it's your lying, he stated. I know when I'm being lied to. We felt sorry for you, Enko answered before mentally kicking herself. It was half true, but if he's anything like me, he'll not even getting a chance to finish her thought. He start speaking. Pity, you did this all out of pity. He was already walking out the door before he was pulled back. Naruto, I think you should know the whole truth, stated Yugao. They told him everything. How the third Hokage ordered an apology. How he demoted them until was fulfilled. Everything. I see, he stated calmly. I'll tell him I forgive you and you can go back to your lives. You won't have to bother with me again, he whispered the last part sadly. No, stated Enko. What? He asked, confused. Isn't this what they want? I said no, she repeated. I am going to apologize properly. Tell me what you want. You don't need to. He stated. I said tell me, she hissed. Do you want money, Jutsus? Do you want someone dead? She thought. Do you want me to sleep with you? No, maybe a no. He stated. I don't want you to do something out of. He was stopped by a hard slap across the face. Daiki, who had returned, thought that will leave a mark. He had no idea what was happening, he just knew it would be best to stay out of sight. You asked me to drop my mask, right? Well, here, she stated. Look at me. He did. He looked her in the eyes. He saw everything, her pain and regret. There was the fear that it would never end. It was all being held on a small line of hope. Your eyes are just like mine, he stated. Yeah, she admitted, just not as intense as yours. Not far behind. Naruto, I ask you again, what do you want? He knew what he wanted. It's something he had been denied since the academy. Do you all feel this way? He asked, receiving a yes from them. Train me in your arts, so that I can be powerful. That's all, Gaki, she asked. We can get plenty of jutsu scrolls for you. No, I want you all to train me, not buy me off. Can you do that? He asked. Do this for me, and we're even. If not, I'll still tell the old man I forgive you. There aren't many ninjutsu or taijutsu we can teach you. Spoke Yugao. I know, he said. I want to be trained by you in all of your arts. The kunoichi looked at each other. There was someone who wanted to learn their skills from them. He was even offering them a way out if they decided not to. What about your sensei? Asked Yugao. He must have taught you something. My sensei hasn't taught me anything. All he does is go on and on about teamwork and needing better chakra control, which he hasn't taught me, then focuses on the Uchiha. They frowned at the obvious favoritism. He hadn't even seemed to care that they were taking Naruto. They shared a smile. He had shown great potential in their scuffle. We've warned you that we couldn't teach you a lot of flashy jutsu. Hana warned, if we do this you have to give us full commitment. The minute you start slacking we stop and are even. Deal, he answered, but I have one request. Depends we keep the secret from everyone on my team. Deal. They gave Naruto an encouraging smile. It was quickly replaced by a look of true sadistic pleasure. Well then, Naruto, welcome to hell. Chapter 3. Training. That concludes today's training and puts another mission under your belts, spoke Kakashi. You've all improved, but Naruto you need to. I know increase my chakra control. Naruto cut off with a drawl before smirking. I've got the feeling it'll be getting much better soon. Baka screeched. The pink harpy. Show sensei more respect. She rolled up her sleeve as if to look intimidating. To her and everyone else's surprise he just looked bored. Are we done, sensei? He asked, still bored. I need to go. Yes, he answered, never looking from his book. As Naruto turned to leave he heard the arrogant voice of the Uchiha. What does a dobe like you need to do? He too was cut off. Hang around those whores of yours. Shut it, team, he snapped, and don't call them whores. They're better than any woman you'll ever get, if any, the way you turn down your fangirls. Naruto, you need to be more respectful of your teammates. Spoke Kakashi into his book. Yeah, you should know your betters and... I can't stand this, goodbye cruel world. Naruto shouted. Let boss deal with them on his own. Grabbing a kunai he impaled himself. He just couldn't deal with them any longer. He went up in smoke. A shadow clone, they thought. Since when? Naruto was excited. Today was the day that things changed. It was the day that he started getting proper training with his new senseis. He had gone to the Hokage and told him that he had forgiven the kunoichi. After a few minutes of discussing everything he agreed to Naruto's terms. They had decided to train him in rotations so that they could keep up their duties. He would train with Enko and Yugo, then Hana and Kurenai. The only real downside was he had to wait for Daiki to make his cloths since they were custom made. They'd take a while to be done. Until then it's just you and me. Jumpsuit. The second and most obvious was his team. They made my clone kill itself. An upside to that was that he had been training all day. He was wearing the weights that Daiki had sold him. They were 100 pounds on each limb, and chasing that cat was a great workout with them. I just couldn't stand that Uchiha always trying to be better. Time for my real training, he stated to himself, and then I could get a few bowls of ramen. Now here he was at his training ground on his land toward. He loved how that sounded. He looked around and saw the open field. The only one there was the foxes, who were playing with the foxes. Where are they? Though I know they aren't like Kakashi-sensei. He closed his eyes and relaxed as a smile appeared on his face. So that's your game, huh? Hello, Enko-chan, he greeted over his shoulder where she stood silently. With a kunai in hand, Yugo-sensei into a tree where his second sensei dropped from. How do you always know where we are, Foxy-kun? Asked Enko, impressed. And how come only Enko gets a chan? Asked Yugo. I've always known when people were near me, since I was little. He answered honestly. And the chan? Asked an intrigued Yugo. It doesn't seem fair. You didn't threaten to do horrible things to me with a snake if I called you San. He answered blankly. Well, now you call us all chans or Sensei Gaki, spoke Enko. That way my friends aren't jealous. On a serious note, stated a lightly blushing Yugo, she may have been a little jealous. You say you feel people? Yeah, it used to help me hide from the mobs when I was little. I've gotten a little better at it. Naruto, are you a censor? Asked Yugo. She didn't want him to even think of those mobs. A what? He asked. They didn't cover that in class, asked Enko, shocked. Censor Nin were the best trackers, even better than her clan, not that they'd admit it. That's something important. I thought they'd warn you about them. They probably did, he answered. It was probably one of those days they'd kick me out of class. How much have they neglected this kid? Were their collective thoughts, they needed to do their best to make it up to him. Naruto, I want you to do me a favor, spoke Enko. I want you to focus and tell me where the foxes are. Looking around he saw that they were indeed gone. Relaxing his body he felt as far as he could. Raising his hand he pointed in their direction. 10 meters that way, he answered correctly. Now they are moving toward us. They'll be here in 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 inch. Just as he predicted, they came bursting through the woods. The kunoichi gave a smile of understanding. Well, Gaki, you are a censor, Enko spoke. We'll try to train you in that as well. Truth be told, she didn't know what she was going to train him in. Impress us and we'll teach you a jutsu. Naruto, please make as many clones as you can. He did so without question. Soon the field was full of hundreds of Narutos. That is a lot. I can make more if you want, he offered. He was proud of his clone skills. No, first thing we need to work on is your chakra control, stated Yugo. First thing we'll do is tree climbing. Focus your chakra to a certain point and maintain it as you take a step. I've come up with a way you can work on that, your reflexes, and entertain me. Stated Enko sadistically. I don't like that entertain part, he stated fearfully. Where's this going, Enko-chan, and why do you have that smile? Why do you have that kunai? Dodge, she shouted at the top of her lungs. Throwing the kunai directly at him, she frowned. She threw it slow enough for him to dodge, but fast enough for him not to know she did. I have a reputation. However, all he did was let it hit him in the arm. If it had been the real one, he'd have a horrible gash. That's what she was talking. Naruto stated. Kurenai clone, or not, you just took a kunai to the arm. I have a high pain tolerance. He stated. Naruto-kun spoke a sad Yugao. We know about the villager. No need to hide anything, not from us. The villager would often gang up and beat Naruto until he was physically broken, but never emotionally. His birthdays were the worst of them. Instead of beating, they would actually torture him. It had happened so frequently that only the birthdays were the ones that truly hurt. They stopped when he started his ninja training, but the damage was done. That is why we to kill two birds with one stone, spoke Yugao. Using your clones you can work on chakra control. What do my clones have to do with this? He asked, and what will I be doing? The kunoichi frowned at this. What has Kakashi been teaching him? They knew he was neglecting Naruto's training, but this was ridiculous. Your clone's knowledge will pass on to you, explained Yugao. You can train faster in anything, but not strength, speed or reflex. It was how most Anbu trained. That was with 2, 3, or 4 clones. Naruto had much more. If a clone is destroyed, you won't be able to get stronger. Now. Dodge. This time the clones dodged. Good, now I can begin having fun. Dodge. She is enjoying this a bit too much for my taste, he thought. They decided to train in another part of the field. It was difficult for Naruto to focus with Enko trying to kill him. Especially since she liked to aim for what made him a man. Every single time. It was a sad day to be a clone. They will do that while we work on a few beginner Kenjutsu katas. Spoke Yugao. Naruto, focus. I'm going to teach you the first katas to this style, she ordered. Pick up that katana and hold it like so. She held a ready stance, but saw he was strained. Are you okay? She wanted him to get used to the type of weapon he'd be using and the dangers of self-harm from it. Unfortunately for Naruto, she wouldn't let him have a real one until he needed it. Can I take off these weights? He asked. The strain is getting to me. He has been wearing them all day, she contemplated. No, she said, after a minute of thinking. It's best you keep them on to build more speed and force in your blows. She reasoned. She had been expecting him to protest or even groan. She was proud to see him only set himself for practice. What determination. Okay, sensei, he answered. You can drop the weight a bit if it gets to be too much, she offered. If you master these series, I'll teach you a Kenjutsu technique. With the promise of a jutsu, he was given new energy. She trained Naruto in a series of katas. He even made a few clone to watch himself to see his errors. There was a lot, but Yugao proudly stated that most came from his exhaustion mixed with weights. As the sun began to set, Naruto ended his chakra control and Kenjutsu practice. Even though he hadn't mastered the series of katas, he made progress. He did, however, master the tree walking. You did good, just need to dispel the clones. Enko spoke. Hey clones. She called. As they turned to the source of the voice, they blushed. They were greeted with the sight of Enko's bare chest. It took them a full 3 seconds to register it as they flew back in a massive nosebleed before dispelling. Unfortunately, the strain of hundreds of clones dispelling at once was too much. It caused him to pass out on the spot. He did, however, have a goofy smile and trail of blood flowing down his nose. Enko, that was too much, scolded Yugao. Are you trying to turn him into a pervert? Hey, with that much stamina I wouldn't mind. She answered truthfully, gaining a blush from her fellow kunoichi. Well, let's get him home, stated Yugao. He'll love the surprise he'll find when he wakes up. Well, maybe my gift, Enko. When Naruto awoke, he found he was in his apartment. He had an extra hour until team meeting began, then an extra 2 before Kakashi arrived. Deciding to get out of bed, he found slight difficulty. I must have trained harder than I thought. As he grabbed for the ramen in his cabinet, he felt something off. Where is all of my ramen? He found a note and 2 scrolls. Dear Gaki, stop eating ramen. It's why you're so short. Here's some dango sealed in the first scroll, just add chakra. You had better eat and love it. Also, don't even try that ramen stand. I paid them off not to sell to you for the week. P.S. You earned the second. P.P.S. I doubled your weights. P.P.P.S. Dodge. As soon as he read that last line, he tossed the scroll. No sooner than he did, a kunai flew out of it. It lodged itself into his wall. Sealing a kunai. I think she's trying to kill me. Wait. She doubled my weights? Reaching inside of the second scroll, he unraveled it. It was a jutsu and a small book. Sensor Nin and its mechanics. We found you a book on sensors at Daiki shop. Shunshin high-speed movement allows ninja to move short distance at near instantaneous speed. Enjoy. Forgetting all about his hunger, he headed toward his training ground. He wanted to impress his real senseis. Baka, why are you late? Cried a harpy, and what's with that smile? He wouldn't let them ruin his day. He would do his best to get through the day as fast as possible. I'm not late, Sakura, I beat Kakashi-sensei, he answered. Both were in shock. Not only had he said something logical, he hadn't called her Sakura-chan like normally would. Deciding not to get involved with them, he chose to sit away from them. I have an hour until he arrives. It's a good time to work on being a censor. After 20 minutes of reading, he closed his eyes and allowed himself to relax. He skipped through straight to the how-to. As he focused, everything seemed to become more vivid than with his eyes open. He could feel every from his teammates to the insect crawling near him. He tried to extend it. The further away he went, the less vivid it became. It seems my range isn't far, but it's focused. After messing around with his abilities, he decided to read more and eat some of the dango Enko packed for him. She'd make me suffer if it went to waste. As the smell of fresh dango spread across the field, he felt his hunger kick in. At the first bite he thought, not ramen, but a close second. He sat back in peace, enjoying the book and food. Hey Baka, give me one of those, held a certain pink-haired monkey. And just like that, my piece is gone. No, he answered. He wasn't giving up anything given to him by one of his senseis. Not to any of them. What? She asked. She had just been denied something by Naruto. It was hard to believe. He's supposed to worship me. Yo, sorry I'm late, I got lost on the road. What are we learning today, sensei? Asked Naruto. He wasn't going to listen to another excuse. I can't teach you much until you increase your chakra control. Turning to his other students, Sasuke, I have a new technique for you. Sakura. I want to watch Sasuke-kun train. She stated, if you don't train Sakura you'll be weak, stated Naruto. Who asked you? She screeched, I'll have Sasuke to save me and then we'll get married, and he just tuned her out. Can I be dismissed? He asked, not even waiting for an answer he walked off. He doubted any of them heard him. He wanted to get some real training done. Hello Hana-sensei, he said from his book. You can stop hiding, Kurenai-sensei. I knew you were there the minute you came into the field. Anko and Yugo warned us about that, stated Kurenai, coming into view from her Genjutsu. They never said it was so. Creepy, continued Hana as she walked into the field. If you want I can stop it. He offered. No need, Kurenai stated. Now tell me, what Genjutsu you know? Henge, he answered. And that's it. He finished. Sensei, can a person use Genjutsu without hand seal? Yes, but you still need a medium, like your eyes or sound, and better control, and yours is. Kurenai looked for the kindest way to phrase it. Could you teach me? He asked to spare her. At least she cares enough to spare my feelings. I can only do a few myself, but maybe later. They then began the lesson. As it turned out, Hana had decided to teach Naruto's clones how to make storage seals. Kurenai did her best to teach Naruto some Genjutsu. Naruto was in a bad mood. It had been 2 weeks and he couldn't learn his sensei's simplest Genjutsu. His Kenjutsu was going well. He didn't blame her, far from it. Kurenai had spent hours trying to teach him and find the reason why he was having trouble. She had even given him low-level scrolls to practice. He blamed himself and the reason he couldn't learn. The fox, since one needed balanced chakra to do Genjutsu, he couldn't learn. His and the fox's chakra were always fighting. The only reason he could do Henge was because control wasn't needed. His thoughts were focused on that so long he never noticed himself falling asleep. Mindscape. So, my jailer finally decides to show up. Stated a deep gruff voice. What do you want? I want answers, he shouted, shocking the giant fox. Why are you ruining my control? There was no fear in his question. There was plenty of anger in it, but no fear. That only enraged the fox. Rearing back, the fox let out a roar. It was enough to shake a village and knock people over. Naruto just stood and glared. Come closer, the fox ordered, seeing no reason to fear the fox. He did so without hesitation. That enraged the fox as well. With the speed of, well, a demon, the fox stabbed the giant claws at Naruto. They never made it to him thanks to the bars stopping them, just inches from his face. Naruto hadn't so much as flinched at them. Damn you, boy, came another roar. Fear me. I am the very stuff nightmares are made of. Why should I? The blonde asked, just give me control of myself. And why should I? Enraged call, you've always preached about hard work, so go with that. Why must you ruin everything in my life? He screamed. Well, know this, Fox, he spat. I don't fear you, and I want control so I can continue my training. Ah yes, your training, he commented in a tone Naruto didn't like. How very fox-like of you. What do you mean by that? Naruto asked, he was hating where this was going. Come now, Genjutsu is Fox domain, he stated, a sword for claws, and you're already a trickster. Those are so I can get stronger, he stated, and they're happy to train me. How would you like even more help? The demon asked. Help in both of training and more. What are you getting at, Fox? Naruto wasn't as dumb as he let on, he wouldn't be tricked so easily. Just a deal between a host and his burden, Kyuubi commented. It could be beneficial for the both of us. I'm listening, he stated. The deal is simple. I give you the means to take your skills to a whole new level, the fox offered for a price. How would you do that? His answer was simple. A bloodline. Seeing that he had the boy's attention, the fox continued, and give you a few needed modifications. What do you want? It was worth listening to. 3 things, the fox stated. The first, since you won't give me my freedom, I want access to your senses. The second, I want you to spread fear in my name, he roared before smiling cruelly. And finally, a little piece of your mind becoming mine. What? I could agree to the senses, but why would I spread fear in your name? He asked. It would give the villagers even more reason to hate me. It's not like they could hate you more than they do, the fox stated, and I doubt they'll even try to like you. Why do you want fear? It had been bugging him for a while. That goes back before I was even the Kyuubi, he spoke in a memory, days back when I was just an average, larger than normal, but average fox. If you weren't born a demon, how did you become one? He interrupted. The fear. From the very beginning it was the fear that gave me my power. The bloody kitsune, they called me. My reign of terror was legendary. Dozens of villagers would fall to my claws at a time until I was slain. It was then I became something worse, the stuff nightmares are made of. I became a demon. Since I was so feared, the fear brought me back as a demon, and the fun really began. Then why do you need me? He asked. Can't you keep escaping death? Because of your 4th Hokage, the beast roared. After I was sealed, people thought I was dead and they lost fear. He continued. Being dead isn't a problem, but being forgotten, now that's a bitch. I can't come back if nobody fears me. I can't come back if nobody's afraid. That's why you need me. The blonde stated. Without fear you're nothing. Yes, I need you. That had to hurt. You've got the body, I've got the brain. Why do you mean some of my mind? Do you honestly believe you can be cruel enough? It seemed to be an honest question. Do you think you could get the amount of fear I need? The bloodline, what would it do? He asked, ignoring the question. The bloodline is called the Fox Glare. It has 2 abilities. The first, you can learn and use any genjutsu you know. The second is trapping a person inside a genjutsu domain, controlled by you just by eye contact. Explained the demon. Through it you can either hold or break, a long-lasting side effect. What is the drawback? He wasn't stupid, there was always a risk. You need to see the opponent, or the genjutsu will run wild. Kyuubi stated. If you use genjutsu, anyone around will be affected the same, such as pain by fire or drowning, unless you're focused. The fox wasn't finished. Anyone better at genjutsu or smarter or have a stronger will can defeat you at your own game. Taking a moment to think, it also can't be turned off or hidden through genjutsu, so good luck hiding it. Anything else? You can detect genjutsu but not break or copy it, the fox added. Those are your own skills. And the modifications would I receive? Enhanced. Everything with slight fox features. You blood will be a great cure for all ailments. Taking another minute to think, I will also train you in a few techniques so your body sensing skill will be taken to new levels. What's the catch to those? Increased levels of bloodlust and cruelty. Kyuubi wanted to chuckle but wasn't foolish. The fox knew that so much as smiling could ruin the deal. Tear off 1/10 of the seal, the fox ordered, and prepare for pain. Doing so, Naruto experienced something he hadn't felt since his childhood. Pain. He felt pain coursing through every part of him. It seemed to be focused behind his eyes and in the center of his head. The fox's constant laughing wasn't helping. Damn. Fox, he got out before the darkness claimed him. Real world. Jumping up, Naruto was sure he wasn't getting back to bed. Damn Fox, well, I have an hour until team meeting. Getting out of bed, Naruto noticed that he felt as light as a feather. Guess I'll be increasing my weights again. He also noticed that he was at least a foot higher off the ground than usual. The changes. Walking toward his mirror, he eyed his reflection. His once sun-kissed blonde hair now carried traces of red highlights. His teeth were now razor-sharp, fang-like. His blue eyes were the same, but his pupil were now had slits. He couldn't help but give himself a few once-overs. I'll need some new. Daiki told me he would be finished today. He tried dressing in his now too small clothes. When that didn't work, he decided to hinge into his regular self. Since mine is real, they'll never notice. Reassured, he dressed and left. Leaf Dragon, hey Naruto, greeted Daiki. Usually I wasn't expecting you until much later in the day. What are you doing here? Asked Naruto. Don't you have any employees to cover the night shift? Nope, I do everything, and using soldier pills I can keep going. He explained. Daiki, how many of those pills have you had? He asked. So I assume you're here for those clothes? He asked, ignoring the question. Yes, Naruto answered worriedly, smiling sheepishly. Daiki grabbed one of his clothes. They were the standard black umbu pants, a new pair of black, steel-toed combat boots. A crimson-red trench coat similar to Enko's with black flames licking the bottom and end of sleeves. In the center of the coat was a kanji. The kanji said Kitsune, which stood for fox. The cloths even came with great features. Add chakra and they'll grow to any size, dry themselves, and even keep the wearer warm. Great for extra chakra control. Daiki only blinked and the cloths were on the blonde. Naruto liked the clothes so much he brought several sets. Usually this would be out of his price range, but Daiki worked him a deal. If he purchased all of his ninja items from the Leaf Dragon, then everything was half off. Naruto, why do you have a henge on? Daiki asked, losing all humor. Deciding the gig was up, he dropped the disguise. The cloths instantly grew with him just as they were created. Well, the semi-blonde asked nervously, how do I look? Can't have the only useful shop hate me. Daiki stared at the now red-highlighted blonde in front of him. His gaze was even and calculative. It made Naruto a bit uneasy as he stood there. You need something for the eyes, he spoke, to cover up their extra features. Have anything that can completely cut off my sight? He asked, relieved. I'm training in being a censor. Sure. Pulling a crimson cloth from somewhere, he handed it to Naruto. It's from the same material as your suit, created it just for you. Written on it was a kanji meaning mirage. As he tied the on cloth, he decided to explore until his sensei arrived. Maybe I'll go to an empty training ground. He continued around until he entered into a training ground. The area was littered with weapons and the posts were horribly beaten. He felt a powerful chakra signature and two weaker ones. It is most unyouthful to spy on my team. Came a voice from behind. Naruto acted on pure instinct. Turning, he threw a kick toward the source of the voice. It never connected because his leg was caught. The grip on his leg was like iron. That too is most unyouthful. The source of the voice was a kid wearing green spandex with orange leg warmers. He had an awful bowl cut and, good lord, are those his eyebrows? They looked like caterpillars. How did you get behind me? Naruto asked with, how come I couldn't sense your chakra? He felt out for it. I still can't feel it. He was even tempted to take the cloth off his eyes to see if he was there. Even if it were civilian level, I should feel it. Lee, what is going on? Asked an older-looking version of the now dubbed Lee. Have you brought another to the ways of youth? Not yet, Gai-sensei, he yelled, but if I cannot convert as many ASUTO the ways of youth, then I shall do 500 laps around the village backwards on my hands. Lee, my student, the older version yelled, your flames of youth glow brighter every day. Gai-sense, Lee, Gai-sense, Lee, Gai-sensei. Naruto didn't know what he was seeing. He didn't want to know. The two look-alikes were starting to hug, with his leg still in the middle. As they did, a horrible sunset began to form behind them. Why can't I dispel that thing? He didn't know how, but he had to get free. He saw only one option. Drawing a kunai, he prepared to saw through his own leg. Lee, Gai-sensei, came a feminine cry. You're about to make another person sever their limbs for freedom. They finally released his leg. Turning to his savior, he began to thank her. He never got the chance as he was stopped by a cold, arrogant voice. Who are you? He asked Naruto Uzumaki. And you? I am Niji Hyuga. He gives off the same vibes as the Uchiha. This is my teammate Tenten. Thank you, Tenten, for saving me, he spoke, but they seem to be finishing, so I need to run. Wait, she called. This is a private area. What were you doing here? I just wanted a spot to train. He answered. Did someone say train? He noticed the two by C motioning for him to say no. Yes. Then let us train, the look-alike shouted as one. I shall make you into a youthful shinobi and continue in my conquest for world youth. What have I gotten myself into? the blonde asked himself. Youth, my friend spoke Lee quietly. Youth training for Naruto was hell. He wasn't able to keep up with Lee's speed, but he matched him in stamina. The others were very surprised to see it happen, especially when they found he wore weights. Tenten was able to help Naruto train with his Kenjutsu. She kept an array of weapons so he was always kept on guard. He bonded pretty well with all but the Hyuga. Naruto couldn't stand his arrogance. Putting on a henge and his blindfolded, he headed toward his team meeting. They were already in progress, most likely never noticing his absence. When he made himself known, well, he wished he hadn't. Naruto Baka, where have you been? Howled a pink monkey. You're late. Naruto just ignored her, he was too tired. Practice with Guy was tough, what possessed me to schedule more with them? Naruto, where have you been? Asked Kakashi, and why do you have a blindfold around your eyes? It's for training. The blonde answered, not a complete lie. What kind of training? Asked the Uchiha. If it's useful I should be the one learning it, not you. Deciding he wasn't going to deal with them, he turned to his teacher. I can believe he reads that stuff in front of us, we're minors. What are we learning today? The blonde asked. His answer was predictable. Since you missed another mission, we decided to do some teamwork. Hey, where are you going? To train. The blonde stated, but before that I feel the need for my oldest friend. Ramen and lots of it. Ichiraku ramen. Hey old man Tucci. Naruto called Ayam-chan. Naruto needs his ramen. 15 bowls later and he felt better. There was one thing that was making it difficult to enjoy the food to its fullest. Actually it was 3 things, 3 people. Konohamaru rocks aren't square. He stated, moving toward his next bowl of ramen. So you saw through our disguise, the rock spoke. I expect nothing less from my rival. At the end of the sentence the rock went up in smoke. There was a lot of coughing and complaining from the one inside. Udon. Konohamaru shouted, you used too much powder. Hey, you wanted a big entrance, Udon countered. Naruto-kun, who are these kids? Asked Ayam. Seeing an opportunity for their entrance they began posing. I'm Konohamaru, future Hokage. I'm Udon, I like math. I'm Moegi, the cutest girl in my class. And together, taking another pose, they spoke as one. We are the Konohamaru Corps. They waited for some type of response and they got it. It was clapping. From Ayam. Naruto had already turned back to his ramen. That's so cute, isn't it Naruto? She asked, not after seeing it every time I see them. He stated, boss, can you teach us something please? Asked Konohamaru. Please, sorry, but I have my own training. He stated, I see. Moegi, bring out the big guns. Konohamaru ordered on command. Moegi was in front of Naruto, giving him the puppy eyes. He tried to resist, but they pulled him to look. They commanded him to obey. I'm wearing a blindfold. How am I affected? Fine, I'm sure those puppy eyes are some kind of jutsu. I guess I'll teach them what I learned. What will we learn? They asked as one. A jutsu, a secret skill. How to dodge? He stated. What? Udon asked, drawing a kunai. He leaked out killer intent. He let a bloodthirsty aura fill the area. It was a small amount, but to fresh academy students it was jounin level. Dodge. The chase had begun. After running the kids back to class, much to their annoyance he headed for his land. I think I'll surprise them with a page from Konohamaru, a flashy entrance. As he arrived, he decided to use his new abilities. Dropping the jutsu, he let his real appearance out. The kunoichi sat in patience, minus Enko, as they waited for Naruto to appear. They had all appeared today for various reasons we won't go into. It didn't usually take this long since he was punctual. Out of nowhere a reddish blonde-headed guy appeared in the forest. He stood there as the kunoichi took guard. This is a private area. Stated Hana. I know. He stated, please leave. Ordered Kurinai. No. The kunoichi were now ready to fight. They each took a position around the intruder waiting for him to act. What do you want? Asked Enko. To meet some of the most powerful and beautiful kunoichi of Konoha. He answered, from there it's anyone's bet. Who would they be? Asked Yugao, both upset at the compliment. Don't tell me he's a pervert. I'm looking at them. He spoke. Enko took the first opportunity to act. Drawing a kunai, she cut his cheek, allowing a bit of blood to flow. Compliments will get you everywhere. She stated, taking a lick at his blood. Wait a sec, Gaki? I shouldn't be surprised you've memorized my blood, Naruto stated, after the amount you've drained from me. What's with the new look? They asked, and were you flirting? I'd like to answer all questions, stated Naruto. Say, over dinner? Naruto, are you asking us on a date? Asked Kurinai, as in all 4 of us? Maybe realization fell into place. He was Naruto Uzumaki, pariah of the village. Why would they even consider dating him? Sorry, he spoke, it was a foolish idea. Naruto, you aren't a fool. Spoke Yuga. Yes, I am. I'm a no-name genin, he said, pointing to himself, and you are 4 of the elite kunoichi of the village. Pointing to said kunoichi Naruto. To top it all off, I asked all 4 of you out, he ranted. That was a perverted thing to do. I don't want to be a pervert. Why would you want to date us? Asked Hannah. You all have been nice to me, he started. You're all amazing women, he continued. You're each skilled and proud, but not the slightest bit arrogant, he thought for a moment, and my time with you all has been the happiest of my life. They could see that he was really upset about this. He seemed to want a genuine relationship with them. Not just a mindless pervert. They then shared a look. It was one of those looks women get when they're somehow having a conversation. You men know the one, they nodded their heads as if reaching an agreement. Naruto, you aren't a fool, Hannah stated. Yes, I am, he countered, a demonically enhanced fool. Naruto. Yugo snapped. You are not a fool, do you know why? No, because my mother told me never to kiss a fool, she shouted, grabbing Naruto by the back of his head. She pulled him forward. Their lips locked and Naruto felt absolute bliss. The world seemed to pause as he enjoyed the kiss. All too soon it came to an end. We each expect a reinforced clone to pick us up tomorrow by 8 to show us a wonderful night. Stated Kurenai. Remember, Gaki, we each have different tastes on what we believe is a perfect date. Warned Enko. Dress casually, he spoke. Until then, my Himes, gaining a blush from said Himes. Chapter 4. The date. Naruto was nervous. He was going on the first date of his life, and it was with 4 women. Most men in his position would be boasting, he however wasn't. Most men, he stayed silent. He had taken the day off of training from his team and the kunoichi. There were a lot of things for him to do for his date. Not that he neglected his training. He sent multiple clones out to practice. Some in Genjutsu with the scrolls Kurenai left. Some in the katas Yugo had showed him. Find something for each kunoichi to enjoy. Find places where he wasn't hated. Find out how to act on a date. Get advice on what to do for the date. I need serious help. Advice. Who can I go to? Should I ask the Ichiraku family? No. How about the old man Hokage? No, he's a pervert, I've seen those books. There's always Iruka-sensei. 10 minutes later and he was in front of his old academy. It seemed his teacher was giving a lecture. Oh, how I hated those. Deciding to spare the kids the pain he went through, he entered. Hey Iruka-sensei, I need your advice. He called Naruto. He asked, shocked. I'd love to help you, but I'm a bit busy with class. He looked at the class of children. They were either sleeping from the lecture of talking. Deciding to be honest to his teacher, he said, Sensei, you've lost them. Just tell me what you need. He said, annoyed. Why does nobody like my lectures? Dragging his former teacher outside, he said, I need dating advice. Now Iruka had to admit that he was shocked. It didn't mean he would show it. He was after all both a ninja and a teacher. What do you need to know? He asked, not even taking a minute to think. Naruto simply said everything. Flowers, Yamanaka flower shop. Hello, greeted Ino. Welcome to the Yam, Naruto. What are you doing here, Baka? He did his best to ignore the insult. I'm here to buy flowers for my date, he stated. I'd like to make a good first impression. Who would go on a date with you? She asked. I bet you just annoyed Sakura until she said yes. I am not going on a date with Sakura, he stated. He really didn't want to deal with a fangirl. I just want to buy some flowers and leave. Fine, she sneered. What do you want? I want 4 bouquets. Each mixed with red and black, pink, orange, and white. One for Enko, Kurenai, Hannah, and Yugo. Great, now I have to tell you what they mean, she sighed, annoyed. You probably just chose them for looks anyway. I know what they mean. Red love, black the beginning of new things, when not death, pink elegance and refinement, orange warm vibrant tones, white humility and innocence. Ino was in shock. Not only had Naruto of all people picked out flowers, but he actually knew what they meant. How does someone like you know what they mean? She asked. Can I have my flowers? He asked, ignoring the question. Why would you need 4? She asked. Are you cheating on somebody? You are, aren't you? She accused. Probably some poor civilians who you lied to and said you did all the stuff Sasuke-kun did. How is Sasuke-kun? Has he mentioned me? Enough, he roared. I'm not cheating on anybody, he stated. I just want to buy my flowers for my dates. If you want to talk about the Uchiha, then find Haruno. Baka, she shouted. You should treat me with respect. I'm heiress to the Yamanaka clan and I don't have to sell you anything. She stated but wasn't finished and you are just a nobody. What is going on here? Asked a new voice Ino and Naruto looked toward the source of the voice. It was Inoichi Yamanaka, Ino's father. He had been watching from the beginning. Your daughter refuses to sell to me, stated Naruto. He knew Inoichi had been watching and she constantly insults me. But he's a nobody. She stated, trying to defend himself. And what are we Yamanakas without the Nara and Akimichi clan? He asked. I apologize for my daughter, the flowers are free. Not wanting to wait a second longer, Naruto grabbed his flowers and left. He had 4 different dates to prepare for. Remember everything Irika-sensei told you and you'll do fine. Who does that baka think he is? See that Ino getting me in trouble with daddy, I'm going to make him pay. Okay Naruto, you can do this. He repeatedly chanted in his head. I just have to show them a good time. Stealing his resolve, he knocked on the door and, Enko, hello THBehemoth, he greeted, getting a blush from Enko. I brought flowers. Hello Foxy-kun, greeted Enko as she took the flowers. Well, come in and we can get down to business. Down to business? He asked. What do you mean? Well, what do you think men and women do? She asked with a perverted leer. Naruto's face put a tomato to shame. Enko-chan, I don't think I'm old enough for that. There is a motto many shinobi live by. She spoken, old enough to kill, then you're old enough to drink and have sex. We're not well enough into a relationship for that. He tried. Enko saw that he honestly wasn't in this for the sex. He wants to just have a relationship. I guess I'll throw him a bone. Fine, she spoke, but if we're going anywhere I want you to drop the hinge. He did so happily. It made him feel accepted. What will we be doing? She was honestly curious. There's a place my former sensei recommended, he answered. It's supposed to be non-biased for us as well, he said, referring to her problem as well as his. Do they have dango? If they didn't there would be trouble. And red bean soup, he added. Well, what are we waiting for? She grabbed him and literally started dragging him. Which way is it? Grabbing her arm, he shunshined them to the location he was given. When they arrived, it looked like a bar mixed with a diner. It seemed to be a decent place on the outside, however there were very few people around. Fire in the hole, came a shout from inside. No sooner had that been said, a man ran out through the entrance. What the? He never finished. The whole building started to light up, before coming down in a fiery explosion. Hey, what are you doing here? Asked another voice. This area is closed for demolition. Looking around, Naruto became aware of the signs. Well, Gaki teased Enko, what do you have planned? He took a minute to think, but came up empty-handed. I've got nothing. He admitted. I do, spoke Enko giddily, a little too giddily for Naruto. Grabbing her date, she took him a few blocks from their location. When they arrived, they were surrounded by unfriendly-looking people. They didn't seem to pay much attention to them, but the few that did just glared and looked away. Enko, he asked, where are we? This is a place I go to celebrate after a mission. She spoke as they walked inside a shady-looking pub. Naruto knew he was in for a wild night. Enko was greeted by several people as they made their way toward the bar. They took a seat and waited for the bartender to notice them. Hey Enko, the bartender greeted, what can I get you? 2 of the usual, she ordered, but make his a small. She pointed toward Naruto. He was tempted to say he would take the same as her until he saw what it was. It was a drink, that much was obvious. Enko quickly snatched hers and started downing it. A second later it was half gone. Taking a pause, she let out a large belch. Naruto eyed his. It looked to be mostly foam. Taking a single, but large, sip, he tasted it. It didn't stay long before he swallowed it all. It doesn't taste half bad. He quickly downed the rest. We got ourselves a natural. Laughed the bartender as he handed out a refill. 5 minutes later they were having a drinking contest. Enko was impressed. Naruto was able to hold his liquor. I should take him out more. Another 10 minutes later they lost count. Naruto wasn't drunk, but the same couldn't be said for Enko. Hey, hick, hey Naru-chan, cooed Enko, how about we, hick, go back to my place and, hick, become much closer. Sorry Enko, but you're drunk, he said. I'm going to have to take you home. Ah, but I want my Foxy-kun, she whined. Truthfully, she wasn't completely drunk, she just wanted to know what he would do. Please, when you're sober, he reasoned. Unfortunately for Naruto, Enko knew a sobering jutsu. After fumbling through a series of hand signs, she was back to normal. There, I'm sober, she stated. Let's go. Wait, you tricked me, he accused, gaining a laugh from Enko and the bartender. Hey, if you don't want her, we'll happily take her off your hands, came a new gruff voice. Turning to the source, Naruto and Enko were greeted by an awful sight. There were 3 men, all dressed like thugs. They had made a small circle around Naruto and Enko. They constantly gave Enko lusty looks and Naruto glares. Sorry pal, but she's my date for the evening. He spoke coldly. I hope you three understand. I hope you understand, brat. The apparent leader sneered that we don't care if she was with the Hokage. Naruto was about to tell them to leave when he saw Enko smile. She has that look on her face, it usually ends up with pain. Hey Naruto, do you know what would make this evening perfect? She asked as her smile grew. No. Naruto noticed the bartender lower himself out of sight. What would? Taking a sharp kunai, her smile grew. As fast as a ninja she drove the kunai deep into the shoulder of a stranger. She then tossed the bloodied weapon into the hands of the leader of the trio. The stranger stood and looked toward the couple, then the trio. He spotted the weapon and stood to full height. This guy has to be 7 feet tall. Letting out a war cry, he dived toward the trio. Bar fight. 20 minutes later, Enko and Naruto were the only ones standing. Even the bartender had jumped in at some point. Enko was happy, exhausted but happy. She got to drink, fight, and even eat some poor sap's food for free. He shouldn't have gotten knocked out so soon, she stated. Naruto wanted to remind her that she was the one that knocked him out but decided against it. The worst part was she sodomized several innocent people. With her snakes, let me get you home, Benny Haim stated Naruto. They reached her apartment a minute later through Shunshin. They stood there for a full minute. They stared at each other, or in Naruto's case felt her chakra. Deciding not to wait any longer, Enko made the first move. Leaning forward, she gave him a chase kiss. It felt wonderful to Naruto, no matter how short it was. I had a wonderful evening, Naruto-kun, she stated. I hope we can do this again soon. She hinted, so do I, he admitted as she opened her door. He turned to leave but was stopped by a large snake coiled around him. Come in, Naruto, she ordered while licking a kunai in hand. How can I say no? He nervously laughed. At Hana's home he was greeted by Hana's mother. Hello, you must be the pup, stated Naruto, spoke Hana's mother. Hana will be down soon. Hello Ms. Tsum-san, he greeted. No need for formalities, Naruto-kun. Spoke Hana, descending the stairs. My mother hates them as much as you. Hello Inuheim, he greeted, gaining a blush, handing her the flowers. I have these for you. Do you know what they mean, pup? Some asked, looking at the colors, gaining a nod from Naruto. Have a good time, pup? Some, before taking a teasing tone, have her back before 10 and don't let me know if you're in the house. Mother Tsum wasn't finished. Don't forget, I want grand pups. Grabbing Naruto by the hand, she dragged him out. Once they arrived at the destination, Naruto dropped his disguise. They were in an open field on top of the Hokage monument. In the field was a blanket and picnic basket. Inside, Hana could smell a lot of delicious items. It was making her appetite grow. Let's see, started Hana outside with a beautiful view. Delicious food. You did your homework on Inuzuka women, Naruto-kun. I tried my best. He said. Tsukun, he offered. They were Hana's favorite. She was even more impressed when she found he had made them himself. They sat and ate in silence. It was a comfortable silence, but still silent. Hana decided to break it. Naruto-kun, she called, gaining his attention. Where are we? The Hokage monument. He too was glad the silence was broken. This was my first comfort spot, he stated. I still come here to think. Why did we come here instead of your field? Look up, he answered. They sit in the vastness that we know nothing about. They hide from us in the day while staying in plain sight. She saw what he meant. The stars, they're beautiful, she whispered. Yeah, you are, he whispered, thinking she hadn't heard. She did. Naruto, see, can I touch your whiskers? She cautiously asked, Naruto visibly tensed at the request. He didn't let many people touch his whiskers, and the ones he did were rarely. To Naruto, that was a very intimate thing. As he thought the request over and over in silence, Hana mistook that as a no. Sorry I asked, she apologized, realizing he had been silent too long. He apologized. No, you can touch them, she assured her. It's just, they are a very sensitive part of me. Really, she knew it was like someone touching the family tattoo on her cheeks. Reaching slowly, she rubbed him. What happened completely shocked her. He purred. Oh my gosh. She mentally squealed. That is so cute. She couldn't contain herself. She playfully tackled him to the ground, knocking his blindfold off. It seemed like she was pinning him, but was in fact hugging him. To her even greater surprise, he flipped her over and pinned her. When she looked him in the eyes, she saw that they were innocent and playful. Like a young pup. Or young kit. Sorry Naruto, but I like being top. They repeated the process over several times. It wasn't long before they were running and chasing each other on all fours. They looked like a fox and a dog playing. It felt great for Hana. She felt like a child again, not a soldier. She wished it could last forever. But all great things must come to an end. I hope you enjoyed yourself, Inuheim, spoke Naruto as they approached her home. I did, Naruto-kun, she said. I felt like a pup again. She admitted, blushing. She then stared at Naruto. How would you like to come in? It was Naruto's turn to blush. He quickly recomposed himself. He leaned in to kiss her and turned to leave. He didn't get far. In front of him were the triplets growling fiercely at him. They seemed to have surrounded him. The center triplet stepped forward and pointed his paw toward Hana. I think I'll take you up on that offer, Hana-chan. He stated, but could you call off the triplets? You go. Hello Yuzuheim, he greeted as he handed her the flowers. Hello Naruto-kun, she returned. They are beautiful. So where are we going? Well, I know how you're tired after Umbu and rarely relax, he spoke, and she admitted it was all true. So I've planned for a smooth and calm evening for you. Naruto held to his word. He had taken her to see the latest Princess Gale movie. It was a few days after airing, so it was relatively empty. They watched in peace. Yuga was impressed when Naruto made no attempts to feel her up. He simply let her watch in peace. Once the movie had finished, they had taken a stroll through an abandoned park. I've got to admit, Naruto-kun, she started, this simple evening has been amazing. Deciding to take a break, they sat on a bench. He noticed that Yuga would constantly rub her shoulders. Are you okay? He asked. Yuga smiled at his concern. Yes, just a little stiff. I could give you a shoulder rub, he offered, if you don't mind. If you do, I totally understand. She thought the offer over in her head. He seems to want to help. He hasn't made any perverted attempts. I'll trust him. Sure, she answered, turning so that she wasn't facing him. They began. He started by giving gentle rubs and kneads. These earned groans of pleasure from Yugao. With these encouragements, he added a bit of pressure and the groans grew louder. Naruto, would you mind adding a little chakra? She requested. I don't mind, but my chakra isn't good, he offered. My chakra destroys while my blood heals. Oh, she had forgotten about the fox. I could use that, he offered. Your blood, yes, but... He trailed off. But what? You'll need to take off your shirt. He flinched and brought his hands up for defense. Not the face. Relax, I'm not going to hit you, Naruto, she assured him. I've already taken my shirt off. When did you? He asks. Why? You're wearing a blindfold, she explained. As long as it stays on, then I know you aren't a pervert. Don't worry, he promised, it'll stay on. Pulling out a kunai, he made a small but deep cut on each hand. He let the blood fill his hand before the wound healed. They close faster now. Began to rub around where she felt the tensest. The groans increased further as the blood healed the pain. Naruto-kun, called Yuga. Yes, he asked. Instead of answering, she simply turned toward him. Because of the blindfold, he wasn't aware of the expression on her face. Leaning forward, she gave him a deep kiss. It was a complete surprise to Naruto, but he loved it. Before he knew it, she had knocked him to the ground, removed his blindfold, and some of their clothes. Yuga-chan, he gasped, you're moving a bit too fast. She shushed him, but Yuga. She silenced him by drawing a kunai and slamming down beside his head. She drew a second one. You were saying? She asked. Nothing, Kurenai. Hello, Beniheim, he greeted, handing the flowers over. Hell, Naruto-kun, she greeted with a smile. What have you planned? I was thinking a nice dinner, he stated. There is a place that makes great seafood. Taking his arm, they shined away. They appeared in front of a small, casual restaurant. Hello, I'd like a table for two. Requested Naruto. Table for one coming right up. The greeter spoke with a sneer. If you would please follow me, miss. I think you misheard him, spoke Kurenai. He said a table for two. She spoke with emphasis. I'm sorry, miss, but we don't serve. He seemed to think of a right word. That, he pointed as if accusing it would be bad for business. I see, spoke Naruto. Time to gather my first bit of fear. Removing his blindfold, he allowed his new eyes to be seen. Seeing the fear in the greeter, he decided to take it up a bit. He allowed his henge to unravel, slowly for added effect. He gave his best feral smile. It would have made Anko proud. Now about that table, he stated coldly. Tea table for two. Coming up, they were quickly seated and abandoned by the greeter. The waiter, after seeing the look, took their orders and disappeared. As he attempted to reapply his disguise, but was stopped. I want the real you, she stated. It was not a request. What do we have here? Came a new voice. Turning to the source, they saw Asuma Saratobi, son of Hiruzen Saratobi. Hello Asuma Kusan, she quickly corrected Naruto. This is my friend Asuma, she said, getting a raised eyebrow from Asuma. Nice to meet you Naruto, he greeted, ignoring Naruto's appearance. You don't mind if I join you, do you? No, great. He said, pulling up a chair before either could answer. It's not as if this is a date, is it? Actually, it is, corrected Kurenai. What? Asuma was in total shock. But he later Asuma stated Kurenai fiercely. We'd like to enjoy our date. She really hoped he caught the hint. He didn't. How did you two meet? He asked. I'm trying to teach him a bit on Genjutsu, she answered. Genjutsu, huh? He thought on it. Wouldn't you prefer ninjutsu? Or even taijutsu? It seemed reasonable with all the chakra and stamina Naruto was said to possess. It was well known from his prank sprees. Actually, I've seen how useful Genjutsu is firsthand, stated Naruto. For taijutsu, a blade can do a lot more than a punch. I understand the blade part, I use them myself, agreed Asuma, but you usually can't use Genjutsu in combat without support, time or focus. Reasoned Asuma, but Genjutsu can usually be easily broken in multiple ways. Yes, but you also can't use a ninjutsu because of allies, surroundings, and even bystanders. Countered Naruto. Also, if the Genjutsu is strong enough or the wielder is skilled enough, then those things are unimportant. True, but Kurenai was upset that Asuma was ridiculing Genjutsu, her specialty. She was happy that Naruto was defending the art. As she watched the arguments continue, their food arrived, as did Asuma's. When did he order? Asuma then began to light a cigarette. This seemed to irritate Kurenai, which in turn irritated Naruto. If Asuma noticed their expressions, he happily ignored it. Could you please not light that here? Asked Naruto. Asuma took a light look around before speaking. Don't worry, he said, there are no smoking signs. This irritated both Kurenai and Naruto further. Okay, how about this? Tried Naruto. Let's make a deal. What kind? If I can prove, right here right now, that Genjutsu is just as useful as ninjutsu, he thought, then you pay for our dinner. Deal, he agreed, and if not, you pay for my steak and rice. Maggots, stated Naruto. Fear, here I come. What? Asked Asuma, confused. He didn't like Naruto's smile. Is there something squirming in my mouth? You're eating maggots. Asuma looked down at his food. There on his plate were maggots squirming on his food. The food itself looked rancid and had a mixture of various trashes. Realizing what the squirming in his mouth was, he began to vomit. He wasn't able to continue emptying his stomach. It was as if his very mouth had been sealed shut. It didn't stop the puke from filling up. Looking toward Naruto, he saw a deformed face. It seemed to be a meld, a fox and a man. The shock was too much for him. Jumping from his seat, he saw that the seat was empty. All of the seats were empty. He did hear a chuckling and felt a piercing sensation in his back. Turning, he saw that it was Naruto. He was holding a kunai that he had lodged deep into Asuma. He continued to twist the blade, drawing out the agony in the jounin. Naruto then raised his hand and made to punch Asuma in the face. Attempting to block, Asuma raised his arms. He never felt the blow come. Opening his eyes, he saw that he was still sitting at the table. Naruto was giving an attempted and failed, innocent look. Kurenai only sat back with a smug expression on her face. What was that about Genjutsu, Asuma? She asked. Also, I'll have you know we changed our orders. She chuckled. It wasn't cheap. How did he do that? He asked. I never even saw him leave any hand signs. He looked at them before her words sunk in. When did you two order and eat? I was out for only a few seconds. There weren't any hand signs. Naruto admitted, and with Genjutsu, time becomes irrelevant. That kind of Genjutsu takes years of experience. Asuma shouted, or just a great teacher. Countered Naruto. Kurenai blushed at the compliment. I had a student that was very eager to learn. Their eyes met and they shared a blush. Kurenai felt like a girl on her first date. Naruto was a boy on his first date. A deal is a deal, Asuma admitted before reaching around his pockets. Oh dear, it seems I've forgotten my wallet. He spoke, trying to be sly. Well, that's too bad for you, spoke Naruto with a smile, because we've already left. With that, both Kurenai and Naruto faded out of reality. Sir, I was told to give you the bill for your companions. Spoke the waiter, looking at the bill. Asuma felt his heart stop. She wasn't kidding when she said it wasn't cheap. He looked at his cigarette. If I smoke my whole pack, now will it kill me and keep me from paying? There is only one way to find out. Somewhere in some park, Kurenai and Naruto were sharing a laughing fit. When they regained control of themselves, they began walking toward her apartment. "Oh, Naruto-kun, that was truly hilarious," she spoke. "Where did you learn to do that?" "I used what you tried to teach me, and those scrolls," he explained. "I then added a little change." "Well, it was amazing," she stated. "You taught him not to underestimate Genjutsu, and I'm sorry he ruined our evening." "I'm sorry that he ruined our date," stated Naruto, in a sadder tone. "It's okay," she assured honestly. "Well, I'd feel much better if I could make it up to you," he stated. "I know, look that way." He gestured toward the sky. Looking in the direction, she saw something that truly amazed her. A sunset she watched as the village was illuminated by the setting fireball. It was as if the sun was trapped in a state of orange and crimson perfection. "He did this for me," she thought to herself in amazement. The raw beauty was overwhelming. Kurenai couldn't stop the single tear that escaped from her eye. And like that it was gone. "Sorry, I couldn't hold it any longer," panted Naruto. "I need more practice." He then saw her tear-stricken face. "Oh no, Kurenai-chan, what's wrong?" She looked at him and smiled. He really cares, she thought. "Nothing is wrong, Naruto-kun," she assured him. "I didn't mean to make you cry." He was cut off by a finger to the lip. Kurenai then leaned in and gave him a chaste kiss. She then deepened it as their tongues fought for supremacy. And like the Genjutsu, it came to an end all too quickly. "Naruto-kun," she asked, "would you like to come in for some coffee?" Now Naruto wasn't the smartest, but even he knew what she meant. There would be no coffee if he entered. "I'm not a coffeeper." He stopped at the scene in front of him. Kurenai was staring blankly at him, as if dead. Her hair seemed to be moving on its own. The shadows seemed to crawl around her. This all made her crimson eyes all the more vivid. "Naruto-kun," she stated coldly, "I'm sure you will love some of my coffee." "See, coffee sounds great." He spoke next day. Enko morning. Naruto-kun greeted Enko as she watched Naruto awake only seconds after her. "How are you this morning?" "I'm fine, THBehemoth, and you?" he asked. "Good, but..." She trailed off. "But, what?" Naruto asked. "There is something I want to try," she explained, "and so far, no man has wanted to even give it a try." "Well, what is it?" he asked. "I'll prove I'm not like other men," he stated. "Oh, you have Foxy-kun," she admitted again and again and again. She snickered. "But what I want to try is a jutsu for what we've been doing." Sure, he was open for more of last night. "Great," she squealed. "Enjoy trouser snake jutsu." "I should not have Tio explain this." Naruto proceeded to stare at Enko. He then made a dash for the front door. Unfortunately, it was blocked by a mass of snakes. The front was blocked and behind was Enko. Only one option left. He jumped out the window. "They always run." One of Enko's snake spoke. "Yeah, guess I'll go see how the other dates went." "Hana, I'll be getting those grand pups in no time," thought Sum. Before noticing the silence, they finally stopped. "Finally," cried several members of the family as the people laid themselves down to sleep. They felt bliss. Time for some well-deserved rest before work. Ring. 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 The alarm clocks went off. It was time to begin another day of work. Several of the family members began to cry. All they wanted was to get some sleep. As Naruto and Hana stepped out of Hana's room, they were greeted by several faces. Sum, who was looking at Naruto and Hana in great interest. Kiba, who eyed them both in disbelief. Several Inuzuka men in envy. Several Inuzuka women in jealousy. Sum spoke first. "I want to name some of the grand pups." "Dobe," shouted Kiba. "What are you doing here?" He looked at Hana. "And with my sister." "Hey, don't blame me," spoke Naruto. "Blame the triplets. They forced me to stay." The triplets themselves were regretting their actions. They, like all present, didn't get any sleep. "Sikama Kumaru," ordered Kiba. "Okay, I can't fight him because he's Hana's brother. What can I do?" Naruto did what any man would do when faced with his predicament. He ran like the devil was after him. "Get back here, Uzumaki," roared Kiba. "You'll pay for defiling my sister and keeping the clan up all night." "I guess I'll go meet the girls," thought Hana Yugao. When Naruto awoke, he noticed that he was in an empty bed. "When did we leave the park?" There was, however, a note and a scroll. "Dear Naruto-kun, have umbu meeting then meeting with the girls. Feel free to raid fridge then practice katas and scroll. Yuga P.S. from Enko." "No. No. No. No." Dodge. Kurenai awoke to an empty bed. She looked around the room and saw that his clothes were gone as well. She felt a great pain in her heart. And oh, he's just like the rest. The tears of the betrayal she felt just fell. "Kurenai-chan, you awake?" asked Naruto from nowhere. "I made breakfast." He noticed her teary face. "Is everything okay?" "Yes, Naruto-kun," she answered quickly, "but I can't eat. I have to meet the girls. I can't believe I doubted him. Girls. They headed to their usual meeting spot. When they arrived they noticed that each of them had a certain glow. It was one they themselves were familiar with and were experiencing. They each pointed a finger at another and shouted, "You slept with Naruto-kun." They accused of each other. They eyed each other before breaking. Those hands spoke Yugao, that body spoke Kurenai, that size spoke Enko, that stamina spoke Hana, that tongue they spoke as one. They then sat around each other as they each recounted their dates with Naruto. Each kunoichi began going into their more graphic night activities, which happened to go early into the morning. They were interrupted by a cough, 3 to be exact. "Hello girls," spoke Heiei, eyeing Yugao. "We were just wondering why you were sleeping with Naruto," continued Irika toward Enko, "when you are supposed to be Asuma to Kurenai dating us." They finished as one. "We can explain," they said. Chapter 5. C Rank Mission. Ever since Naruto changed his training was upped. He didn't mind, in fact he was happy. His progress was what most considered genius. Naruto however wouldn't take that kind of credit. He gave credit to his sensei and his longtime companion. They never questioned Naruto on his change after that. They didn't care, they trusted him. They also trained him in stuff outside of combat. Hana was happy to finally have something to train Naruto in. His newly heightened senses, it was perfect for her. There were basic manners and politics taught by Kurenai. To his misery there was human anatomy by Enko and basic sealing. Yugao taught Naruto about a lot of the village's laws. Ever since he learned Genjutsu his pranks have increased. Naruto's relationship with his sensei has also been amazing. They kept it mostly a secret from the general populace to avoid the hate. Kiba kept silent so many wouldn't know that he was dating Hana. They would keep each other company in public, though he kept his henge on. He also kept his blindfold on to help him with his sensing. He had improved greatly without a proper teacher. The Hokage was aware of his new changes and abilities. At first he nearly had a heart attack, much to the fox's delight. Naruto made him promise to keep it a secret until he was ready to reveal it. However, neither the Hokage nor his senseis knew of the fear collecting. They also didn't that he was receiving extra training from the fox. They were some of the few people he didn't want fear from. When he wasn't with the mistresses or ice queens as the male populace named them, he kept busy. He often trained with Teen 9. Ten and Lee were very fond of Naruto. The Hyuga was another story. Neji seemed to think Naruto was a weakling. He tried to challenge Naruto to a fight, often insulting him. Naruto would just ignore him and act as if the Hyuga was beneath him. He often thanked his sensei for teaching him to control his emotions. Even when he slept he was busy. He would often spend this time with Kyubi. The fox had taught Naruto a lot of Genjutsu, even taught him a bit of Kenjutsu. When he awoke he instantly started training in everything. I love clones. The fox taught Naruto more about his new bloodline. The more fear he gathered the more powerful both would become. His illusions would become stronger and more realistic to the victim, and he would also become stronger and faster. If he looked someone in the eyes he could find their worst fears. However, he could only use Fox Genjutsu with Kyubi's chakra. When he gathered enough he could use his skill without limit. When he wasn't training himself he trained the Konohamaru Corps. He hadn't taught them any jutsu. He did help increase their speed, stamina, and stealth. They were now physically better than Sakura. They had collected a lot of fear, but nowhere near enough. He needed to gather true despair. Training wasn't all he did. When with his Heims he would relax. Often giving them massages or taking them on dates. There was however a major downer in his happiness. Naruto Baka screamed Sakura pay attention his team, and he used that title loosely. They were no team of his. If any, his would be Team 9 minus Neji. Naruto had to deal with his team's insults and constant ridicule. His sensei would ignore it in him. He has also neglected to teach Naruto anything, often favoring the Uchiha. Sakura just sat on the sidelines doing nothing but praising Sasuke and ridiculing Naruto. Not that he showed much. He held everything back during their team bonding exercise and training. He would bide his time. To show them what I can really do. He couldn't wait. He even continued his sensor training, not even putting a genjutsu over the blindfold. "Alright, what mission do you want today?" asked their leader. "We have babysitting, gardening, catching to." "Please don't say that cat's name," begged Naruto. "Can't we get a real mission, not these chores?" "Naruto, you are still fresh genin. ranted Irika. Taking a higher mission will require months of experience and hey, are you listening? Old man shouted Naruto, if I don't get a real mission I'll teach your paper to multiply. The Hokage paled at the threat. He was sure Naruto could and would do it. Naruto, spoke an uncaring Kakashi, you shouldn't threaten your superiors. Especially one adobe like you couldn't go through with. Spoke the arrogant Uchiha Hokage-sama. Spoke Naruto in a lower tone, I've already taught the paper shadow clone jutsu. Looking at his desk, everyone noticed that the paper had multiplied. It was so much that the stacks couldn't keep balance. They soon fell over and he couldn't tell which he finished and which he still had to do. Irika, get them an S-rank mission, ordered the village leader. Get it now, or else he was cut off. Hokage-sama, shouted the Chunin in disbelief, they are genin. Right, the old leader agreed. I lost my head for a second, I have AC ranked. He stated. Send in the bridge builder. At his order an old man walked in. He seemed to be drunk and continued to drink sake. He eyed the genin. These are the snot-nosed brats who are supposed to watch me, he asked. They look like they'll wet themselves and run at the first sign of danger. He eyed them closely, especially the short, blonde one. Everyone was surprised when they didn't have to restrain Naruto. He simply looked at the client and stated, we are shinobi, we are meant to be deceiving. He used his best Anko smile, but if you want sinister then just say so. The minute he saw Naruto's smile he nearly wet himself. Many of the occupants felt the same way. And no thanks, he readjusted himself. I'm the super bridge builder Tazuna, you are to protect me with your lives. Don't worry Tazuna-san, stated Kakashi, I'm a jounin and Sasuke here is my best student. We can handle anything. Naruto and the Hokage frowned at the statement. It was the sign of a teacher playing favorites. I'll have to have a talk with Kakashi. Alright, Team 7 called the Hokage, you leave for your mission in an hour, so go prepare. They left. Wait Naruto, he called, the papers are still multiplying. It was too late, Naruto was already gone. Irika, help, the aged leader begged. Irika looked as the number papers grew and grew by the second. It was truly maddening. He didn't want a part in it. I wonder how Anko is doing. With that thought he decided to go for a walk, a long walk. It had only taken Naruto 10 minutes to prepare for his mission. He had already prepared a scroll of all he needed. An hour later they were in front of the gate. Well, it looks like the dobe forgot to pack, chided Sasuke. Baka, now we have to wait for you to go pack, added the Uchiha's pet. Actually I have everything sealed away, stated Naruto, showing the scroll keeps me from carrying a bulky bag everywhere. He pointed to their bags. They couldn't think of a comeback for his statement. Naruto, that's a bit advanced for a genin, stated Kakashi. Who are you? Asked Naruto. What do you mean? Asked Kakashi. You're on time, spoke Sakura in disbelief. Just head out, he ordered. On time once, and they think I'm a stranger. The trip was mostly uneventful. The only thing interesting was that Naruto was silent. Hey Baka, why are you so quiet? Asked Sakura. If you're thinking then don't, you'll only hurt yourself. He was about to respond when he saw a puddle. Kurenai-chan would be so insulted if she saw that. He stated, what are you talking about Baka? Saw what? Asked Sakura louder than needed. And who is Kurenai? Everyone just ignored her. As they passed the puddle, two mist shinobi jumped out. The duo made their way toward Kakashi, surrounding him with their shuriken chained claw gauntlet. With a mighty pull they severed the jounin to pieces. Sakura saw this and started screaming. One down, spoke the first. More to go, finish the second. They ran for Tazuna, but Naruto jumped in way to protect the client. The closest struck with his claws into Naruto. With a mighty tug he disemboweled the blonde. The lifeless body collapsed as his innards fell to the ground. They made their way toward Tazuna, only to be close-lined by Kakashi. The demon brothers, two Chunin ranked mist ninja. With great speed he restrained both of them out and tied them up. Sensei, cried Sakura, you're alive. She looked toward the body only to see logs. You used replacement. She stated. Yes, but your friend died, stated Tazuna, pointing to the remains on Naruto. Who cares about that dope? Asked Sasuke. He only slowed me down. Yeah, he only got in between me and Sasuke-kun, stated Sakura. He's better off dead. How can you allow them to speak like that of their teammate? Asked Tazuna. He died to protect me. He wasn't even an adequate shinobi, stated the sensei. He won't be missed. It's nice to see what you think of me, stated Naruto's walking from behind a tree. My team and sensei. Dope, how are you alive? Howled Sasuke. We saw you get gutted. Naruto said nothing. He just glared at them as walked toward his team. Good thing he had control, or he might have sent them into a nightmare. Naruto, Baka, you answer Sasuke-kun now? Ordered Sakura, or else. Or else what, Haruno? He asked with such venom. You aren't even a threat to an academy student. This caught everyone, minus Tazuna, by surprise. Naruto never bad-mouthed Sakura, even as he started acting strange. In a moment of rage, Sakura charged Naruto with a raised fist. Naruto, seeing her attack, simply back-slapped her. The blow caught her across the face and knocked her a few feet across the ground. She sat on the ground in disbelief. She stared up at Naruto, and even though she couldn't see his eyes, she could feel them. Enough is enough, Sakura, he stated. I won't allow you to continue using me as a punching bag. The others were in disbelief as well. Naruto had struck Sakura. Naruto, that was uncalled for, stated. Kakashi, apologize now, or I will have your license revoked. If you do, then you will have Haruno punished, stated Naruto. She attacked me on a mission, not including all of the other times she struck me. He drew a kunai. In fact, I could execute her right here and now without any repercussion. Why you wouldn't do that to me, would you, Naruto-kun? She asked. That seemed to only make him angrier. Wait, I'll go on a date with. She offered. He didn't even seem to think it over. Sensei, make him stop, she begged, running behind their teacher, crying like a child. That is enough, Naruto, stated Kakashi. Stand down, or I will have your license revoked for abandoning the client. This was met with a chuckle from Naruto. I never abandoned the client, he stated. Tazuna, come on out. At his call, another Tazuna appeared from behind one of the trees. It seemed the bridge builder was ready to make a run for it. You sure everything is safe? He asked, gaining a nod from Naruto. Good. Glad that I could have your license revoked for abandoning the client and your students, stated Naruto, backing Kakashi into a corner. How are there two of the client, Dobe? Asked the Uchiha as the Tazuna closest began to fade away. I placed a Genjutsu on the area and hide the real Tazuna, he stated. I needed to know who they were after. Kid had me terrified the whole time, he stated. I'm not going to kill you, Haruno, so stop crying, he ordered. I need you alive so I can continue the mission. Actually, Naruto, started Kakashi, hoping to get some revenge since these ninja are after Tazuna. As you revealed, we will have to cancel it. It's too dangerous. Nice work, Baka, shouted Haruno after regaining herself. Now Sasuke-kun won't have a perfect record. No mission means I don't need you, Haruno, that sent her back to begging and crying. Please, begged the bridge builder. Wave needs your help, and he went on trying to guilt-trip the team. Don't worry, Tazuna-san, stated Naruto, we're going to complete the mission. That is my decision, Naruto, stated Kakashi, not yours. This is SC rank, turned a rank. If you don't want people to know your actions, we will complete the mission, stated Naruto. Are you threatening me, Genin? He asked, his rage at the boiling point. That is a grave offense. No, I'm blackmailing you like a shinobi, he stated. What was your motto again? We will continue the mission. Kakashi strained out. Dobe, where did you learn those illusions? Asked the Uchiha. Naruto made no attempt to answer. I demand you tell me. Naruto just continued walking. Sasuke, enraged at being ignored by the Dobe, drew a kunai and tried to attack him. The key word is tried. Somehow he was on the ground with the kunai gone. It was in Naruto's hand, which he had pointed at Sasuke's eye. Are you attacking me as well, Uchiha? Naruto asked, knowing the question. Maybe instead of killing you I'll just pluck an eye out. Collecting fear is becoming addicting, he thought. Enough, Naruto, shouted Kakashi. Let's just continue the mission. One sec, the blonde. I need to collect my trophies. Will tell you nothing, one brother stated. I don't need either of you, Naruto stated. Raising his blindfold, he stared the brothers in the eye. They looked back. A second later, they were asleep. Pulling out a scroll, he sealed the mist ning claws inside. Kid, what did you just do? Asked a Tazuna. I knocked them out, stated Naruto, holding the scroll. My girlfriend will love these weapons. Like a baka, like she never finished. I will end you, he simply stated, cutting her off. And she believed him. The rest of the trip went without incident, but was still agonizing. The Uchiha would demand his techniques while Haruno would cheer him on. I sense a present, thought Naruto there. Drawing a kunai, he threw it toward where he felt the signal. This put everyone on guard. He relished in their fear. When he went to investigate, he saw a white rabbit. This caused Sakura to start yelling again. That color is out of season. Though Kakashi, what are you doing? Asked Tazuna. Are you going to give me a heart attack? I'm going to cook this rabbit up, Naruto stated. Rabbit stew is amazing. Oh, and you all might want to dodge. At his words, a large cleaver-like sword came hurtling through the forest. The genin ducked to the ground while Kakashi brought Tazuna down. The cleaver impaled itself into a tree. On top of the handle was the enemy. It was another Kiri shinobi. This guy is giving off some powerful chakra, better drop my weights. Zabuza Momochi stated. Kakashi, demon of the hidden mist. Kakashi Hatake, the man who copied 1,000 jutsus, No wonder the demon brothers lost. Zabuza returned hand over the bridge builder, the Nin ordered, then added, and the rabbit. This rabbit is going into my stew, stated Naruto. Get your own. Taking a minute to think, you can have the Haruno, he said. It's a fair trade, a harmless creature for a useless creature. I think I'll stick with the rabbit. Enough, stated Kakashi. We won't be handing over the bridge builder. I see, he laughed. Well, let's begin. Jumping away, he landed in front of a lake. Hidden mist jutsu, as its name said, mist began to fill the area. Everyone, behind me, ordered Kakashi. Zabuza is a member of the Seven Swordsmen and a master of the silent killing technique. He raised his headband and uncovered his eye. I'll need this. A Sharingan? How does Sensei have that? Asked Sasuke. Well, at least he can't copy my Genjutsu, thought Naruto. 8 came, said master voice. Larynx, spine, lungs, liver, jugular, subclavian artery, kidney, heart. He named. Which will I go for? As the mist became thicker, the fear began to set in. It was getting to all the genin minus Naruto. One of his teachers, Enko, thought he should be ready for the killer intent of battle. That's it, Zabuza, make them nice and afraid. The Uchiha is about to slice himself. Naruto then felt a chakra signature appear behind him. Using the speed from all of his training, he turned toward the signatures. He impaled Zabuza with a kunai. However, instead of blood, he got water. The whole body just fell apart in a puddle. Water clone, huh? That kid has some skill, complimented Zabuza. Your fight is with me, stated Kakashi. Cannon fight, but with water clone holding Kakashi. Sorry, but does anyone care? Run, shouted Kakashi. Take Tazuna and get out of here. This fight was over when I was caught. And where would we go? Asked Naruto calmly. This guy would just find us and cut us down. As he spoke, the area started filling with water clones. You should just leave the bridge builder, stated Zabuza. I have no time for kids playing ninja. This coming from a man pretending to be a demon, taunted Naruto. Enraging Zabuza, let me give you a taste of your own medicine. Handing the rabbit to Tazuna, he stepped forward onto the water. My own medicine? Zabuza asked, before laughing. What can a kid like you do? You've probably never even spilled blood. Do you think you're the only one who messes with the enemy senses? He asked. The only one who induces fear. He allowed his weights to drop so he could adjust. Reaching into his pocket, he pulled out a scroll and unsealed a sword. The handle was average, but the rest was anything but. The blade was crimson red. The guard was actually a fox head holding the blade between its teeth. Well, that's an impressive sword, Zabuza complimented, but nothing out of the ordinary. Really? Asked Naruto. Something sure smells good. Realization hit everyone. The area was lightly filled with a sweet aroma. Zabuza tried to cover his bandaged nose, but the smell got through. No use, Zabuza, stated Naruto to an upside-down Zabuza. Welcome to the inverted world. How is this kid upside down? He looked around before realizing he was the one upside down. How did I get upside down? This is the power of my invert, he stated. I reverse one's sense of direction. He looked and saw everyone else was affected before charging. I don't own bleach. That is interesting, Zabuza stated, but not original. Zabuza turned around to face Naruto. He swung the blade toward the blonde only for Naruto to disappear. A gash appeared on his arm a second later. Naruto appeared upside down to his left where he swung. Naruto again vanished and a scar appeared on Zabuza's back. This continued for a few moments as his team watched in disbelief. How is that dope doing something I can't do? Asked the so-called Avenger. I deserve that power, not him. As Naruto continued to dance around Zabuza, he felt something off. There was no fear coming from Zabuza. He needed to end the fight. Tightening his grip, he charged forward and struck at Zabuza. He brought his blade into range. He struck. He missed. Zabuza had backstepped. The rogue swordsman then swung his sword at Naruto. As the sword came in contact with Naruto, the blonde scattered in an explosion of black rose petals. They reformed into Naruto a large distance away. As the blonde stood there, he covered his chest. He had been able to avoid a fatal blow, but not without some damage. You're good, kid, but as I said, unoriginal, complimented Zabuza. You only distort the sense of sight. It's been done. He stated. I, however, am a master of the silent killing technique. I can take you out with sound alone, and you couldn't hide your footsteps. Realization hit. He needed a new plan. He dropped the invert technique and began to think. Time to put my Kenjutsu to the test, he thought. Let's go, Zabuza. Taking the stance Yugao had him train in, he prepared. Let's see if a member of the Seven Swordsmen is more than a title. This kid is still willing to fight? Zabuza was impressed. It'll be nice to cut down another swordsman. Zabuza took a swing at Naruto, who blocked. The blow was very heavy for the blonde, but he managed. Giving a heave, he barely pushed Zabuza's sword back, giving a clear view of the older swordsman's stomach. Taking the open shot, he jabbed his sword toward Zabuza. The demon swordsman merely sidestepped. He then swung and swatted the blonde a few feet away with the side of his massive sword. Naruto stood. He needed to stop Zabuza, and fast. Zabuza made the move. Leaping forward, he attempted a downward slash. Naruto quickly jumped back, but Zabuza was persistent. He tried to defend, but the blows were too heavy and getting heavier. Zabuza delivered a kick that sent the blonde tumbling back. While Naruto was off balance, he went in for the kills. He cleaved Naruto in half. Naruto dispersed into black rose petals and let them scatter far and wide. While they held a distraction, he reformed overhead. Coming down, he intended to impale Zabuza through the head. The demon of the mist turned and with a massive swing cleaved through Naruto, only to go up in smoke. Crushing snake constriction, Naruto activated. Thank you, Enko. Zabuza couldn't move. He was being held by a snake. It began to squeeze him. More Genjutsu pulsing his chakra, it dispelled. Naruto had already reached him. Dance of the Crescent Moon. Using his clones, he split into 3 different Narutos. The first 2 charged from either side while the third disappeared. As the first 2 came in range, they each struck. Zabuza back-paced and gutted the first, which had tried to attack head-on. Only for him to go up and smoke one down. Raising his sword, he blocked the second strike. With another mighty swing, he decapitated him. Only for them to go up in smoke as well. Where is he? On cue, the final Naruto came from above. He delivered a powerful cut toward Zabuza's torso. Before he could strike again, he too was cut down. As he looked around, he saw no trace of Naruto. He looked toward the kids' team and smirked. It seems he ditched you, mocked Zabuza, holding his wound. Too bad. Well, who's next? The other 2 grew terrified. Before he could move toward them, he was stopped. Looking toward his feet, he saw vines holding him. String bean binding illusion. The vine continued to grow. They wrapped around Zabuza, raising him into the air. They tightened themselves to restrict the victim's movement. Actually, I was just setting this up, stated Naruto, appearing from inside a giant bean pod. What are you afraid of? He asked as he began removing his blindfold. Before he could do so completely, Zabuza started dissolving into water. A water clone. When did he? You were good, he spoke behind Naruto, but not good enough. Raising his sword, he slashed at Naruto. The wound was a large gash across the blonde's chest. Thanks to his high pain tolerance, he could barely stand it. Okay, new plan. Standing to full height, he summoned a clone. With an unspoken order, the clone transformed into a windmill shuriken. A shuriken, he said, impressive henge, but I'm tired of Genjutsu. He then took a ready stance. Besides, you'll never touch me with it. Naruto did his best to hide his smirk. The same mistake my Heims made. Taking aim, he threw the shuriken toward Zabuza. As it grew closer, he casually leaned to the side. As the shuriken passed him, it slightly cut his cheek. That cut was enough. That shuriken is real. He thought, looking toward the direction it was heading. He wasn't aiming for me. He was aiming for the water clone. The real target was hit. The water clone was dispelled and Kakashi was free. I knew I couldn't beat you on my own, so I freed someone who could, stated an exhausted Naruto. Now you 2 play nice, he stated before moving toward land. The 2 jounin squared off. They began circling each other's. Well, Zabuza, stated Kakashi, let's see if you've got enough in you to continue. They began weaving their hand signs. Water style, water dragon jutsu, they shouted simultaneously. From the water rose 2 giant water snakes. They tore above all present. Their attacks collided. It seemed that they were evenly matched. Kakashi will need an edge to win this. They began weaving again. Now. Hey, no brows, he called, drawing Zabuza's attention. Haha, you looked. Taking a serious demeanor, he called. Invert. Zabuza went wide-eyed. Turning his body around, he aimed the jutsu behind him. Water style, giant vortex jutsu at nothing. Water style, giant vortex jutsu. Turning to the sound, he saw Kakashi wasn't behind him. He was in fact to his side, too close for Zabuza to defend or dodge. He took the hit head-on. The force behind the jutsu was too much. It carried the Rouge Nin all the way to land, knocking him into a tree. Demonic illusion, tree binding death. The tree seemed come alive as it wrapped around Zabuza. From the tree emerged Naruto, as if he were a part of it. He loomed over Zabuza, kunai in hand. "Surrender Zabuza," Naruto ordered. "You've lost." Zabuza struggled but didn't have the necessary energy. The demon of the mist gave a glare worthy of his title at the blonde. He stiffened as two Senbon needles impaled his neck. Then the fallen nin went limp. Looking toward the one whom threw the needle, he saw a masked figure. A hunter nin he remembered from his studies. The figure stood beside his team, motioning for him to bring Zabuza forward. He did so. "Thank you for distracting him," the hunter nin stated. "I've been tracking him for a while." "No problem," replied Naruto calmly, "but on guard. You were here for a while, why not aid us?" The figure stayed silent. "I see." Naruto, "Stop harassing the hunter nin," ordered Kakashi. "Hand Zabuza over." "Boo. That is an order, Genin." "Do what you're told, Baka," shrieked Sakura from behind their sensei. "All right," stated Naruto, "don't blame me when this fake hunter nin kills us." "Fake?" they asked as one grabbing Zabuza. The fake hunter nin disappeared in a shunshin, appearing behind Tazuna. The hunter nin then grabbed the rabbit and left again. "No, my rabbit stew," wailed Naruto. "What happened?" asked Tazuna. "I was ordered to let the enemy live and ended up losing my chance at rabbit stew," Naruto stated. "By the way, Kakashi, good night." In 3, 2, 1 at the end their sensei collapsed. "What did you do to sensei?" asked Sakura. "Fix him now, or they'll never find your body," he stated, silencing her. "Now Tazuna, is your house nearby?" "Dobe, I demand you." He was silenced as well. Sleep. The Uchiha was out like a light. He put Haruno under as well. No real reason behind it. He just wanted her out. Could you blame him? 20 minutes later they were at Tazuna's house. They had sat Kakashi down in a room to rest. It turned out he just had a mild case of chakra exhaustion. The next morning Naruto sensed a familiar chakra signature. Running to the door, he saw one of the most beautiful faces ever. Helmi, he greeted in joy, leaning in to kiss her. Chapter 6. Wave. Foxy-kun greeted Enko. "How are you doing?" "Better now that you're here." He answered, not to sound rude, "But why did the old man send you?" "I saved him from some paperwork." She eyed him. "You wouldn't have anything to do with that, would you now, Naruto-chan?" Naruto wouldn't meet her gaze. When he continued to avoid eye contact, she laughed. She walked in the room. Looking around, she saw the family she would help in guarding. "Naruto-san," asked Tsunami, "Tazuna's daughter, who is this?" "This is Enko-chan." He introduced Enko. "This is Tsunami, Tazuna the bridge builder's daughter." "Nice to meet you, Tsunami," Enko greeted. "Where is the Cyclops, the emo, and the pink howler monkey?" "Upstairs," she answered, giggling. When she entered the room, she saw Kakashi was asleep. The Uchiha was in a corner brooding, and Haruno was pestering him for a date. "Hey Cyclops," Enko shouted, waking Kakashi. "Who hooped your butt?" "What are you doing here?" Enko asked Kakashi. "I haven't sent for any backup." "I did," stated Naruto, "right after we were attacked by the demon brothers." "We don't need help," Dobe stated. "Sasuke, I could have handled this mission with it." "We ran into a rogue ninja called Zabuza." Sakura answered. "Sensei got caught and Sasuke-kun was going to save me, but the baka got in the way and tried to show Sasuke-kun up," and she turned a glare to Naruto, "then did something to him and Kakashi-sensei and me. So basically, he saved you and now you're whining because it wasn't the Uchiha." Enko stated. She turned to Naruto. "Tell me what really happened." Naruto lowered the blindfold to reveal one of his eyes. On contact, he activated a jutsu meant for briefing. Flashback jutsu. "That's right, I went there." As the scenes replayed inside Enko's mind, she felt pride. Naruto had used the very skills that she and her friends taught him with great skill. He then admitted that he needed help and freed Kakashi. "Nothing is wrong with your sensei," stated Enko. "He just has chakra exhaustion from overusing that eye of his." "What did you do to me, Dobe?" the Sasuke asked. "I put you under a simple genjutsu to knock you out," the blonde answered. "It was actually pretty easy." The answer enraged the Uchiha. "How could the Dobe put me in a genjutsu? I'm an Uchiha, the elite. It must be that sword, it has to be. No way that the Dobe is that strong on his own." "Naruto, you have been acting brash this whole mission," stated Kakashi. "Learn to respect your team or I'll have you punished." "Yeah, Baka," shouted Sakura, "you won't be as good as Sasuke-kun is." "I don't know why I'm surprised, it's not like I just saved their lives." Naruto turned to the door to leave. "Where are you going, Dobe?" Naruto continued. "I asked you a question, Dobe, don't ignore your betters." "Kakashi," shouted Enko, "what do you think you're doing?" She gave a glare that froze them. "How can you have such a dysfunctional team?" "I tried to get them to work together, but some people," he glared at Naruto, "don't understand the value of teamwork." That is a lie and a half, I've seen your form of teamwork. She stated, I've known about your negligence for a while now. She wasn't finished, because of that you have a group of unprepared genin on a dangerous mission. Anko, I believe I can effectively train my genin. Stated Kakashi into his book, they've done well so far. Only thanks to Naruto, the one you neglected, she retorted, if it weren't for him you'd all be dead. Why do you care so much about the baka? Sakura asked, it's like you're his girlfriend or something. I am, stated Anko. What? Shouted everyone in shock, you're dating Naruto? Naruto has a girlfriend, come on Naru-chan, called Anko, you can give me a full body massage. Wait, Dobe, Sasuke called, I demand you give me that sword and the claws from the demon brothers. He held his hand out, someone like me could use them much better than you. Hell no, stated Naruto, rage building, the sword is mine and the claws are for my other girlfriend. Other girlfriend, they asked, you're nothing but a pervert, screeched Sakura. That's probably my fault, admitted Anko, but it wasn't me alone. Women, I demand you take his weapons and give them to me, ordered Sasuke, I deserve them more than an abandoned nobody. Naruto has had enough. He was used to insults, but doing so to his family was his breaking point. He began reaching for his blindfold. Sasuke Uchiha, he growled, what, you're afraid of Naruto, shouted Anko, I think you should go for a walk. The blonde took a few deep breaths before calming. This is going to be a long mission, okay, team, time for some training, called Kakashi, you will be learning something special today. Woods. Sensei, you can't teach us in that condition, called Sakura, and why do we need to train? Zabuza is dead, right? Actually I can, and no he's not, he replied. Hunter Nin are supposed to destroy the bodies on the spot. That can only mean he's an ally to Zabuza. I did say he was a fake. Stated Naruto. What will we be learning it? Asked Sasuke, hoping for a powerful jutsu. You will be learning to climb a tree without hands. How is that possible? Asked Sakura in amazement. Anko had a different feeling, annoyance at her comrade. You're just now teaching you're the team tree climbing, she asked on an A-rank mission. She sighed. Let's go, Naru-chan, called Anko. I was given some stuff from the others for you on this mission. She gained her usual grin. We don't want you going soft and training without us. Anko, I'm afraid that Naruto must train like everyone else, stated Kakashi. He needs the chakra control the most. I already know it. Naruto stated, I've mastered up to Jounin level chakra control. There is no way you know that much, stated Sakura until she saw he wasn't listening. Hey, don't ignore me. Why are you wasting your time on a dobe like him? Asked Sasuke. You should be training me, not that. He was cut off by a kunai to the neck. I will choose who is worthy of my training. Stated Anko as her killer intent flowed out. Let's go, Naru-chan. Anko is still a slave driver, he thought. Other parts of woods. She had increased his weights and then gave him orders to start training immediately. He was happy to be learning new techniques, but he had limits. Running and dodging kunai while trying to learn new sword katas on top of water brings you to them fast. Why is the world spinning? Did I say you could take a break, Naru-chan? She said in a false sweet voice. Yes, he tried. Fine, let's break something, she grinned. I'm going for your legs. He was back to training. Anko looked at the exhausted Naruto and she was nothing but proud. He may not have mastered everything, but he was doing well. He's not even using his clones. He didn't want to be dependent on them. That is enough for now, Naruto, she called. No sooner had she said that he collapsed. Dinner should be ready. He seemed to find a bit of energy in her statement. When they arrived, they were greeted by the family. It seemed dinner was ready. Naruto hastily dug into his food. His piece didn't last. Dobe called the Uchiha. What did she teach you? None of your business, team, Naruto stated. Naruto baka, you answer, Sasuke-kun, shouted Sakura. Naruto did, stated Anko. You just don't like the answer. Naruto, it would be helpful to know what learned, stated Kakashi looking from his book. We could use it to our advantage. You mean give it to Sasuke to copy, stated Naruto. I won't give him my hard-earned skills. Why do you all train so hard? Asked a new person. It was Inari, Tsunami's son. You're all just going to die. No one can beat Gato. You should all just go back to your comfy homes. Kid, you shouldn't speak on things you know nothing about, stated Anko as Naruto tensed. Some people don't have the luxuries you think they do. You all think you can just come here and be heroes? Heroes don't exist. Inari shouted. None of you know suffering, so go back to your peaceful homes. Suffering? Asked Naruto in an icy tone. You don't know suffering. You live here with a family that loves you. He raised his head, glared at Inari. You have a food in your stomach and a warm place to sleep. Naruto May Anko couldn't finish. The killer intent coming off of him is maddening. Are you hated for something you couldn't control? Have you beaten so badly and so often that you don't notice most pain? Do you go home every day to absolutely nothing? He stood. Maybe I should show you some of my pain. He began to raise his blindfold, but a hand stopped him. Anko then hugged him from behind and whispered something in his ear. As she continued, he began to calm himself. He turned to everyone present and stated, I'm going to go blow off some steam. He then shoo-shined away. Anko turned to look at the crying Inari. The massive killer intent had been too much for him to handle. Stop whining, you deserved it, she said. Just because you have it bad doesn't mean you have it the worst. That baka probably made that all upright. Sasuke-kun, spoke Sakura-hn, was his response. You have no idea what Naruto has been through. Hissed Anko. The trial he's endured just for living, she whispered, all for something he had no control over. Was it really that bad? Tsunami asked. No, Anko answered. What he said was the sugar-coated version. Woods. The next morning Naruto was lying in a field. He had done a lot of damage to the area. No tree was spared in his rage. Now he was enjoying some well-deserved rest. He then felt a chakra signature enter the field. It wasn't a member of Team 7, his Harem, Tazuna, or even one of his family members. It was, however, very familiar. The signature grew closer. Excuse me, the voice called. You'll catch a cold if you sleep out here. Don't worry, Naruto reassured. I have inside work on my immune system. He let out a quiet chuckle at his own joke. So what is a pretty lady like you doing out here all alone? You have a blindfold on. How do you know I'm alone? A thought then occurred. What makes you think I'm pretty? I know when someone's around the same way I know you're pretty, Naruto answered vaguely. He then lowered his blindfold and looked Haku in the eye. I was right, pretty. Their eyes met. As they looked deeper, they saw each other's pain. Those eyes are just like mine. They thought as one. I'm Naruto, by the way. You are? Haku, I'm picking herbs for my sick friend. Haku answered. Should I be worried that I'm alone? No, he hastily answered. My senseis would kill me if they thought I thought something perverted. He saw her work. Do you want any help? Sure, Haku answered. Naruto sat down beside Haku and began picking herbs. Haku wondered how Naruto saw which to pick but didn't ask. Naruto-san, are you a ninja, right? Asked Haku, gaining a nod. Are you strong? Yes, Naruto responded with pride, but I need to get stronger. Do you have anyone precious to you? Yes, Naruto answered with no hesitation. They are very few. He thought of each one, but I'd happily lay down my life for them. Then you will be truly strong, Haku stated. I think I have enough herbs. Thank you for your help. They stood and turned to leave. Hunter-san, Naruto called, stopping Haku. When I said I'd lay down my life for them, I meant it, he continued, but I'd make sure whoever hurt them suffered as well. Neither turned face the other. They began walking in their separate directions, although neither knew of the smile on the other's face. Naruto-san, where have you been? Asked Tsunami. The others have been worried. All of them, or just Anko? She didn't answer, so he did. I had a strange day. I was told to give you something when you returned, spoke Tsunami. It's a gift from Anko-san. He noticed she had a frying pan in her hand. No, he begged, please don't. I'm sorry, but she took aim dodge. For a civilian, she had good aim. Bridge. Naruto had guard duty. He didn't mind, it was part of the mission after all. He was even able to collect a little fear from the nervous workers. He just wished they would stop quitting. Tazuna called a random worker. I just can't keep working on the bridge. He said, I'm sorry. Hey. Naruto called to the man. What do you think you're doing? I'm going home. He stated. So you're going to give up too? It wasn't a question. He turned to the remaining workers. Are you all just going to give up? A worker who was about to quit stepped forward. What choice do we have? He asked. Some of us have a family to provide for. We can't do that if we're dead. Naruto unfolded his blindfold. Kyuubi is going to hate me for this. He needed to help them. This bridge needed them. He looked into their minds for the cause of the fear. Builders of the bridge, I know what you all are afraid, he stated as he faded away. Gato appeared out from nowhere and stood with all of his arrogance. The builders were all afraid. If Gato was here, then that meant that he was going to stop them. They were going to die. What happened next shocked them all. Naruto reappeared behind Gato and sliced away at him. In one swing, he removed the tyrant's head. As the body fell to the ground, it faded away. And I can help you rid yourselves of it, he stated, if you are still willing to work for the future of Wave. Naruto stood in silence. He waited for them to make their decision. Finally, one of the bridge builders stepped forward. We are done, he stated as they looked on in confusion. You are all willing to defy Gato, he elaborated. You are willing to continue for wave. He shouted, you all have already casted out your fears. The builders looked toward one another. They were willing to defy Gato. For their family and for their future they were willing. They cheered as they returned to their jobs. There was a new vigor in each of their movements. That was a great motivator, kid, spoke Tazuna. I just hope it was enough. I try. Wait, what do you mean? Even with this new energy we already lost a lot of workers. I have that covered, Naruto stated, forming a cross with his hands. Shadow clone jutsu. Tazuna was speechless from what he saw. For every one worker he lost there were 3 Narutos. Maybe more. Just tell us what we need to do. Chapter 7. Bridge. Naruto was happy. Kyuubi had worked him into the ground for giving hope instead of fear. Now Naruto was allowed a night of peace. Even as he slept he had felt the others leave. It was a lesson his Heims taught him. Always be prepared and on guard. That was how he knew of the 2 extra signatures that entered the house. Let go of my mom, cried Inari, and that was how he was aware they were enemies. He was already downstairs. He had concealed himself and observed. One of 2 swordsman thugs were holding onto a bound tsunami. The second was making his way toward Inari, drawing his sword. Stop, Tsunami cried, if you kill him then I swear I'll bite my tongue. Even these thugs knew that she wasn't bluffing. Fine, the first said, you got lucky, kid. The one closest to Inari kicked him down. Much to everyone's surprise he stood back up. Naruto decided it was time to make himself known. You did good, Inari, he spoke, your dad would be proud. It looks like one of the ninja was left behind, one spoke, it seems so. Naruto returned calmly, what will you do now? Do, he asked. Nothing, we have all the cards. He motioned to Tsunami, we are leaving and you will stay. Or we start cutting this one, the other threatened, putting his sword to Tsunami. Cut who? Naruto asked. The thugs looked to Tsunami. To their surprise, she merely faded away. They looked and saw that she was next to Naruto. She was no longer bound and was holding Inari tightly. They drew their swords and took a menacing step forward. Wait. Tsunami cried, you want money, right? If I give it to you, will you leave? The 2 thugs looked at each other. They shared a cruel smile and looked to Tsunami and said sure. Naruto knew it was a lie, it was very obvious. He was also sure that Tsunami could tell it was a lie as well. He decided to see what she had planned. In that scroll to your side. She pointed, it has everything we have, it's a ninja tool and all you have to do is open it. The 2 snatched it up and opened it. Inside was a letter. They read the letter out loud for all to hear. Dear Naruto-kun, we are at the bridge. P.S. Dodge. As they read the last part, a violent stream of kunai shot out. Many of them embedded themselves inside the thugs. They fell down dead. Mom, how did you know that would work? Asked Inari. That scroll was from Anko, wasn't it? Naruto asked. She added a lot more kunai than usual this time. Anko-san wanted me to give it to you. Tsunami admitted she told me how it worked so I wouldn't be hurt. Were you really going to give it to me? That was something he needed to know. They're waiting for you at the bridge. She said, not answering his question. Bridge. As Naruto entered the scene he noticed the air was laced with chakra because of the mist. It was much more potent with the extra water. This would make it difficult for Naruto to use his sensor skills that he relied on. He dropped his blindfold so that he could see. He didn't like it. His eyes hindered his sensor skills. He headed toward the closest signatures. They were to the side and by far the weakest. Hello Tazuna, he greeted, nearly scaring Tazuna and Sakura to death. Kid, are you trying to give me a heart attack? He asked. Not yet, Naruto spoke, but I'm so close. Baka. Sakura started but never finished paralysis jutsu. What? Naruto asked. Don't look at me like that, she's better off this way. He continued motioning to her frozen body. Now you have a proper meat shield, one that won't run. Tazuna thought it over and admitted he was right. I can't think of a single thing against that. Tazuna admitted. So what have I missed so far? The blonde asked. The scarecrow one is fighting Zabuza. Tazuna began. The kid and the snake lady are fighting against a new enemy in there. He pointed toward an ice dome. I guess I'll go and save the Uchiha. Naruto stated after a moment of thinking. What about your girlfriend? Tazuna asked. She's inside that thing too. Who do you think I'm going to save him from? The blonde asked. Dome. Sasuke was not doing too well. He had so many needles inside of him that he looked like a pincushion. Enko was doing much better. She had very few needles inside of her, but it could have been worse. She would be doing better if it wasn't for one problem, Sasuke. Why? Because she had to keep saving him from the hail of needles. Dodge, she shouted, knocking him away as she too jumped away. If the Uchiha dies, then the council will blame either me or Naruto, if not both. I can't let that happen. Woman, I demand you stop doing that. I am an Uchiha, I do not need someone saving me. Sorry kid, but I can't have you dying. She stated, I'm an Uchiha, I don't need saving, he shouted. Now watch as I end this fight. He began sign weaving. Fire style, fireball jutsu. The flame spread onto the ice mirrors. Enko would have been impressed if she hadn't seen Uchihas his age do the same thing. Soon the flames died down to reveal the damage of fire toward ice. Nothing. Good job Gaki, she laughed. I think I see a stream of water dripping. Please surrender, Haku pleaded. There is no need for your deaths. Ha, you see, shouted Sasuke, my flame must have done more damage, now the enemy is weak. Why else would the enemy ask for it to end? Yeah, whatever kid. Stated Enko, she knew that the enemy was just being merciful. Haku prepared to give off another volley. Enko prepared to tackle the Uchiha to safety. Sasuke prepared for something else. He stepped onto the tail of Enko's jacket. He began to channel chakra like Kakashi had taught him. Soon he had stuck himself and Enko to the ground. This will teach her. As the attack came, Enko prepared to jump. However, she was being held by something. Looking back, she saw the Uchiha's arrogant smirk. The attack came and Enko took the full brunt of it. The needles were in every part of her. Sasuke had used her as a shield. She took another look towards Sasuke. Traitor, she gasped, you should feel honored. He smirked, you get to say that you were of use to an Uchiha, the greatest honor. If there isn't any consolation to this, she spoke with a smirk of her own, it is that you will die along beside me. I'm an Uchiha, he stated. This ice ninja won't be able to kill me. I'm not talking about the ice ninja. She pointed before closing her eyes. Sasuke turned to see what she meant. Entering the ice mirrors was Naruto himself. He had seen the whole thing. Enko-chan, he cried, running to her side. Wake up, THBehemoth, please wake up. All he got was a lifeless limp. He held her as he cried over her. Please give her back to me. Don't take one of my Heims. Make them hurt, spoke a familiar fox. They dared to hurt your mate, your Heim, hurt them both. Yes, they dared to harm her. Use it, the fox continued. Use what I taught you. Use the fear you collected and make them. No. Fear. Naruto looked Haku in the eyes. He needed eye contact for this. He didn't need to see hers, just for her to see his. Shin no Ippo Stage 1 success, the technique worked. The technique froze her in place. It was temporary, she would break it, but it was enough. Naruto drew his sword. He held it toward his face and looked into his reflected eyes. Using his fox glare, he began. Shin no Ippo Stage 3. He was fear, and fear feared nothing. Over his head, chakra began to form an image of a smiling fox. His hinge had dropped. He no longer cared for it. He felt the fear he collected. He let it out as it consumed him in a red aura. It sent him past the peak of his abilities. His power only continued to grow. He would make them suffer. Standing to full height, he stared at the frozen faces before him. His blue eyes were now crimson red. He had a coat of red chakra that seemed to flow around him like a second skin. It was wild and uncontrolled. He looked and saw that they were afraid. It wasn't enough, he wanted them terrified. He wanted them in true despair. You dare touch my Heim, spoke Naruto as his rage and bloodlust grew. You dare hurt my Heim, out of the way, Dobe, spoke Sasuke. This is my. Sasuke never finished. Naruto didn't even turn as he kicked him into the mirror behind them, but it didn't stop there. The force of the impact shattered the mirrors. Sasuke sailed straight through it. He landed in a broken heap next to Tazuna and in frozen Sakura. Haku was terrified. This wasn't the same boy she had met in the woods. It was as if he had taken in everything that scared her. Haku saw that he was ready to act. Using her mirrors, she summoned her reflections to appear in each one. As they each pulled their hand back to throw the needles, another hand stopped them, each of them. It was Naruto. He was inside the mirrors behind her, each of them. He easily held her hand as she struggled against him. He grabbed her by the throat with his free hand. She struggled as he forced her to look forward. She was looking at her reflections as they were being restrained as well. How did he get inside? He let go of her throat now that she was looking. He drew his sword and leveled it to her neck. In a flash he had slashed her throat. She felt the blade give her the fatal blow. She watched as her reflections bled out, waiting for the cut to end her. But it never came and she opened her eyes. She could see him standing there in the middle of the dome as if he had never moved. That's right. It's only Genjutsu, he can't hurt me. She would stay in her mirrors, she was safe in there, right? It's only Genjutsu. Wrong, he spoke as if reading her thoughts. Just because you're covered in ice doesn't mean you can't be touched. He spread his jacket out and she could see the crimson interior. That wasn't what he wanted her to see. From several points in the jacket, hooked chains shot out. They flew straight into the mirror, digging into her flesh. She had never felt such pain as more continued to pierce into her. They pulled, forcing her out of the mirror. Each step more painful than the last. They stopped pulling as soon as she was in front of Naruto. She looked him in the eyes and saw something she wished she hadn't. This wasn't the same boy she had met in the woods a few days ago. This was someone who truly wanted to see her suffer. I'm going to tear your mind apart. He whispered, and he was going to make it happen. The chains released her as an invisible force pushed her back. She continued straight through the mirrors just as the Uchiha did. Haku, however, landed between the two battling jounin. The shock of what happened stopped them mid-battle. They looked toward the one who had caused the interruption. Zabuza couldn't believe it. Haku was down in a bloody heap. The shock was so great that he stopped giving chakra to the mist. This revealed Naruto. The reddish blonde was making his way toward Haku. Zabuza dashed toward Naruto. He wasn't going to let the kid kill Haku on his watch. Raising his massive sword, he brought it down with as much force as he could muster. As a jounin and master of his sword, that was a lot. Naruto simply raised his hand and caught the blade. He held it between his thumb and fingers. Everyone was in shock. Zabuza tried adding more pressure, but it was futile. Naruto held the blade in a simple but powerful grip. The blade didn't budge an inch. You're in my way, Naruto said. Move. Naruto raised his free, clawed hand. With careful aim he jabbed at Zabuza, impaling his hand into the older ninja. With strength only a ninja could muster, he raised Zabuza into the air. Without looking around he tossed the jounin to the side. He didn't need to look. Zabuza landed in a bush of spikes. Each spike impaling him, going straight through to the other side. Even though they stuck through, none of them were fatal. It's like the brat is keeping me alive for some reason. Naruto made his way toward Haku. The fear has been nice, he thought, now it's time for some despair. Haku looked up and saw a shadowy figure coming toward her. It was Zabuza. He stood over her and raised his sword. Zabuza-sama, she asked. What are you doing? You are a broken tool, Haku, he stated coldly. I no longer have any use for you. Haku couldn't believe what she was hearing. The one who gave her any purpose in life was tossing her aside. He was going to kill her. No, Zabuza-sama, she begged, not him. It was just like all those years ago. Just like with her father. Zabuza brought his sword down. Haku acted on all of her battle instinct. Using her bloodline, she commanded the water on the bridge. Using her control, she raised ice spears. They impaled Zabuza through different spots. Each one a fatal wound. Haku looked in shock at what she had done. You really were a defective tool, he gasped. He fell limp and dead. No, she whispered. No. She cried. Zabuza-sama, wake up. She begged. She melted the ice and ran to his body. As she fell on top of it, begging him to live, she heard it. Laughter. She turned to the side and saw the source. Naruto, he's not dead, he stated, but it must be nice to know you would have killed him. Haku stared in disbelief. Naruto pointed toward the dead Zabuza. Right before her eyes, he faded away. He then pointed to the real Zabuza. Stuck and restrained by spikes. Naruto raised his sword to finish her. Well, what do we have here? Spoke a new voice, stopping Naruto. It seems the demon of the mist was all talk. Gato, what are you doing here? Zabuza asked. Well, Zabuza, Gato started, it has come to my attention that you are too expensive, so I decided to end our agreement. He looked on the bridge. Kill the men, the women on her knees is yours to play with. Naruto, who had been ready to kill Haku, was enraged. She can wait. He thought Anko would want me to end filth like him first. Naruto grabbed his sword and took a new stance. It was the one that Kyuubi had taught him. He never used it because it was brutal. Now he would use it without restraint. He eyed each of the bandits. They were all so full of confidence. The arrogance wasn't what he wanted. Time for more fear. Remember, Kit, you get the blood, the fox reminded, but I get the glory. His body seemed to convulse as he began to mutate. Fur began to cover half of his face, which became more fox-like. His free hand became claw-like. From his backside 9 glorious tails sprang free. I suggest you all come and die quickly, Naruto called. Do it while you still have the chance. These bandits were terrified. Fear makes people do crazy things. The bandits did the craziest thing. They charged Naruto head-on. Naruto charged them as well. Naruto impaled the first victim with his sword. Lifting the body with his sword, he gave a mighty toss. The body crashed, knocking a few over. Naruto ducked under a blade. Standing, he cut the enemy's throat with one swing. One tried to run. Naruto ran after him. Grabbing him by the back of the head, he forced the bandit's mouth open. Reaching his hand in, he began to tug and pull. With little effort, he ripped the top half of the bandit's head off. More tried to run. Naruto charged after them. With a powerful leap, he landed one of the bandit's shoulders. A second later, he jumped again. However, the bandit was missing his head. Man, I sure know how to get ahead in life, Naruto joked. 2 of the closest decided to attack from behind. Their blades made it through and pierced Naruto in the back. He ripped them out. Letting loose his tail, he impaled many that were foolish enough to be behind him. There were several on each one of his tails at a time. He held the bodies high for them to see. Many tried stabbing and beating him. He would either disappear like a mirage or dodge them. He would then slaughter the attacker before moving to the next. You're a monster, one bandit shouted. A demon. Look at him, another cried. He's a tailed beast. Go ahead, count my tails, shouted Naruto. I want the world to know the number. Ni 9 tails, one shouted. Kyuubi, let the world know, shouted Naruto, that Kyuubi is going to make a comeback. No, Kyuubi is dead, Gato shouted. A ninja killed him. Wrong, stated Naruto. Kyuubi is fear and fear is forever. He looked toward Gato. You however aren't. Naruto turned his gaze toward the bandits. He had gained enough fear for now. It's time to end this. Soulbane, the jutsu took immediate effect. The bandits were turning on each other. They couldn't tell who was friend or foe. Naruto could have let them go on. Let them kill each other until there were none left. Where would the fun be in that? He jumped into the slaughter. Neither Team 7 or Tazuna, nor Haku or even Zabuza could believe what they were seeing. This was a slaughter. Haku, what did you do to that kid? Asked Zabuza. I didn't do anything, she stated in equal shock. It was the Uchiha. He used that woman as a meat shield. Is she dead? Asked Zabuza. No, she's just asleep, explained Haku. Wake her up, ordered Zabuza. Wake her up now. Haku was already moving toward the body. She began to remove the needles from Anko. Unfortunately, Naruto saw her. Even in death you won't give her peace, he shouted. Naruto made his way toward Haku. Each step was deliberate. Each drawing more fear in. Haku had removed the last of the needles. She was now shaking Anko. Wake up already. Haku shouted as Naruto stood above her. He raised his sword. 5 more minutes, Anko mumbled. Behemoth, he asked in shock. Anko's eyes snapped open. She looked around as memories began to flood into her head. She looked to the one who had called her. Naru-chan, she asked as she took in his appearance. He quickly dropped all Genjutsu and allowed his true form to appear. As he looked into her eyes, he saw many things. But not fear. She's not afraid? He thought in confusion. It soon turned into happiness. She's not afraid. Monster came's shout from Gato. You're a demon. All eyes turned to the forgotten tyrant. He stood in front of a pile of bodies. Only a few were still breathing. Naruto would spare them. They could tell what happened. That would bring in tones of fear for him. The demon of the mist stood. Even though his wound was lethal, he had enough energy to raise his sword. He pointed it toward Gato. Gato called. Zabuza, before I die, I'm killing you. With a mighty heave he sent the blade flying. Gato only smirked. Taking a step to the side, he awaited for the blade to pass him. He noticed Naruto's smile. The blonde mouthed one word. Invert, he asked, what is he talking about? He never received an answer. The blade that was supposed to pass him did. It passed right through him. Now it was lodged inside his midsection. He fell to his knees. He had never felt any pain as excruciating. He had never felt fear so potent. As he looked up he met eyes with Naruto Fox glare. He was in a small dungeon. "Where am I?" he asked. "To no one. You are in my realm." Naruto said, appearing from thin air. "In here I control space, time and reality." "Why am I here?" "Before you die, Gato, you're going to give me some information," stated Naruto, "and then you can die." "You won't get squat from me, monster," Gato stated defiantly. "Oh, I'll get squat, Gato," he assured. "I'll get squat." "Burn in hell," Gato shouted. "Such a limited imagination." Naruto tisked, "Down these dark decades of your pain, I'll make that sword and you feel like a memory of pleasure." Gato knew he was trapped. He did the one thing a worm like him could do. He began to cry and beg. "Don't cry, Gato," Naruto sighed. "It's a waste of good suffering." "What are you going to do to me?" he asked. "I'm going to make you feel everything done to every single person in Wave." Naruto stated coldly, "Every last man, women and child." He smiled coldly toward the tyrant. "I will repeat it over and over again because hell is repetition." Gato had long since been broken. Naruto just wanted him to suffer for his crimes. He repeated the torture over and over again. When Naruto was finished, Gato embraced his death. Said Blonde just blinked. Inside hide the fox glare. Years had passed. In reality only a second passed. "Kid," Haku Zabuza called, "come here a second." Naruto knew Zabuza was dying but was cautious. Even near death he was dangerous. He just tossed that sword half a bridge away. "Yes, they asked. I'm dying," he stated calmly. He accepted his death. "No, Zabuza-sama," Haku protested. "We can get you help." "From where?" the man asked. "I accept my fate. I just have a single request for the both of you." "Whatever it is, Zabuza-sama." "I want you to take my sword," he ushered to Naruto and Haku. "Wait, you want me to do what?" Naruto asked. "I don't care what you do with the sword," he stated. "Sell it, give it away, or even gamble it away." "Zabuza-sama, you can't." "I can and did." He stated. "I want you to go with this boy." "As you wish," he stated. "I can save you, Zabuza." Naruto stated. "You can continue to live." "What's the catch?" "Three things," he stated. "The first, I want you two to come with me to Konoha and become ninjas. The second, I want you to free Haku. She should make her own choices. And the third," asked Zabuza, "I want that rabbit." Naruto shouted. "I need that rabbit stew." Deal. Naruto drew his blade and cut himself across the arm. It was deep enough so that the blood flowed freely but not lethal to him. He held his arm and allowed it to fall into Zabuza's mouth. The battle was over. Naruto had saved Zabuza, Haku and his Harem. They would be coming back with them to join Konoha. Now Naruto just wanted to be with his Harem, to enjoy the fact that she was alive. Naruto Enko asked in his arms, "What are you thinking about?" "There was however one problem. I killed them." He stated. "I just killed every last one of those bandits." The guilt of their first kill. Naruto, she spoke. "I know exactly how you feel. Everyone has it after their first kill. Although so few ninja have ever killed on such a large scale." "Do they enjoy it?" he asked tonelessly. Enko had no answer. The only one she could think of was her sensei. "There has to be an explanation. I know for a fact that Naruto isn't a monster." "Naruto, I heard that you used technique after I was knocked," she stated. "It was a genjutsu that I learned from." He hesitated. He never told them from the Kyuubi. He felt her tense in his arms. He could feel a bit of nervousness creep deep into her. He did not enjoy it. "What does it do?" she asked. "It has 3 stages," he explained. "The first traps them in a paralysis of fear. The second is more potent. It freezes the victim's lungs. And the third," she asked, "when used on a user it increases them to their maximum potential." He stated. "It allows me to use Kitsun illusions and other genjutsu without restraints." "That's it?" she asked, losing hope. "It helps in my merge with Kyuubi." He trailed off. That was the answer. He wasn't a monster. "Naruto, that jutsu practically turns you into a new Kyuubi," she stated. "I don't want you to use unless necessary." Okay, he agreed. He would have agreed to anything at that moment. A thought occurred. Did someone ever free Sakura from that genjutsu? "Who cares?" she asked. Bridged citizens of Wave shouted to Zuna. "The bridge is complete." Cheers flowed from every citizen. They were directed to the one standing by Tazuna. "What will you name it?" asked one citizen. "How about we name it after the true hero?" he asked. "How about the Great Naruto Bridge?" Sasuke, who had stepped forward, expecting the glory, stood in disbelief. They want to name it after the dobe? Over me, and Uchiha. Hey, you shouldn't name it after that baka, shouted Sakura. You should name it after Sasuke-kun, he's much better. I will not name the Bridge of Our Hope after that traitor. Spat Tazuna. He heard what happened. Your Uchiha isn't nearly as great as Naruto, chided Anko. This got shouts of protest from Sakura. Tazuna, spoke Kakashi from his book. It would seem that you're playing favorites, that wouldn't be fair. That is the pot calling the kettle black. Everyone though, it would be better to name it something else. Who likes the name I gave? Asked Tazuna to the citizens. His answer was an ocean of cheers from the citizens. The name stays, he stated to Kakashi. Let's go. They made their way back to the village hidden in the leaves. Chapter 8. Home. Hokage office. Hiruzen wasn't one to be shocked. When you've lived as a ninja as long as him, you learn to cope. He was called the god of shinobi, the professor, the strongest leaf shinobi. He has served in the great wars and led them victory. He has trained the Sannin, each Kage-level shinobi. That means nothing with Naruto. It was his first C-ranked mission. He was supposed to protect a bridge builder from bandits. He somehow ended up overthrowing a tyrant. Becoming a symbol of hope. Getting a bridge named after him. Bringing home an A-ranked rogue and a mystery ninja. It's my fault for expecting something normal in my profession, he thought, or just when Naruto is involved. Hokage-sama, I believe Naruto should be punished for his. I demand the doge give me his. Such a baka. Oh Sasuke-kun. After getting several different types of mission briefs, the Hokage felt a headache growing. It all seemed to be centered around Naruto, that much he could tell. Hokage-sama, I believe I know a solution. Stated Anko over the racket. Upon arrival of Wave, Naruto performed a Genjutsu that allowed me to see what happened. I believe it would be well suited for now. I want all but Naruto to leave. Ordered the Hokage. I deserve to know what the dobe is going to hear. Stated the Uchiha. Anko on it, Hokage-sama, she stated. Striking shadow snakes. Grabbing the arrogant child, she dragged him out. Once they were alone, the Hokage began pulling out his sake. He had a feeling that he would need it. Okay, show me this jutsu, he ordered. Flashback jutsu. Now he had answer and an even bigger headache. Naruto showed almost everything from leaving the village to the bridge. What he left out was that he owned every dime Gato stole. He was trained by Kyuubi and that he feeds on fear. Let me get this straight, spoke the Hokage. You went on a mission obviously outside your rank, way outside. Stated Naruto. You blackmailed your sensei? He's a hypocrite. You fought a ranked ninja? I held him off, yeah. You sent courage through a bunch of hopeless bridge builders? We needed the mission to be completed. You then killed near 200 bandits, that one had him a little worried. I can't take all the credit for that one, Naruto stated. I made most of the bandits kill each other. You also say that your new appearance is because of you drawing on so much of the fox's chakra? Yep, you know I don't believe that last part, but I won't press on the matter, he stated, knowing the headache wasn't worth it. You will have to wear a henge so you don't cause an uproar. I know, he sighed. It would have been too easy just to have the disguise break like that. I'll do my best to keep the council off your back, he stated, but it won't be too long. Thanks, old man. You then turned said missing ninjas into your friends? They're more of an ally right now. The Hokage and the hidden Umbu stared at the blonde. And now you want them to be shinobi of the hidden leaf? Yes, the wizened leader stared at his surrogate grandchild. It seemed the kid was a crazy magnet. Why couldn't he have had a normal mission? Were the thoughts of the village leader and several hidden Umbu. Fine, Zabuza will need a few months under Umbu watch, but Haku can start immediately. Can I have another mission? Get out. He ordered. Ichiraku ramen stand. Hey, I am Nechan, Naruto greeted. Old man, I need some ramen. Coming right up, Naruto, he called. Hey dobe, he heard an all too familiar voice call. I demand you give me that sword. For the last time, team, he stated. I'm not giving you my sword. He turned. Why do you want it anyway? You don't even practice Kenjutsu. I know that it was how you did those things in Wave, he stated. Yeah, Baka shouted Sakura. If it wasn't for that sword you would be nothing, even with that training you're getting. You think that I get it from my sword? He laughed. Team, Howler Monkey, he called. I get my skill from hard work. And having a fear-born demon living inside me, but thank you, you reminded me to visit my girlfriend and give her the gift. Order up, Tucci called. Right after ramen, Naruto happily ate his ramen. He had hoped if he ignored the two of them then they would leave. No such luck. Baka, you give Sasuke-kun what he wants now, ordered Sakura. Why don't you two just sit down, shut up, and eat some ramen, Naruto shouted. It might make you two less irritating. Ramen can only do so much. I don't want any of that piss-flavored noodle, stated the Uchiha as another bowl was placed by Naruto. You shouldn't insult the ramen team, stated Naruto coldly. It could get upset, and upset ramen is bad for you. Who cares how the ramen feels? He should have taken the advice. Before Sasuke could finish his insult, the ramen attacked. The noodles stretched around the Uchiha and began constricting him. The bowl swung toward him and covered his face as the broth began drowning him. Sasuke-kun, Sakura cried. Naruto, you called of that filthy. The bowl jumped to her. Well, time to go. I wonder how my Heims are doing. Using his sensor abilities, it was a breeze to find them. Better get them something. Yamanaka Flower Shop. Welcome to Yamabaka? What are you doing here? Asked Ino. I just want to buy some flowers, and I'll be on my way. He stated. Do you know how much trouble you put me in with Daddy? She asked, ignoring his statement, and continued ranting. It's like a blonde Sakura. I kind of don't care, just give me my flowers. A lot, she shouted. It's all you. Hey Ino, he cut her off. This is what got you in trouble last time, he stated. Do you want me to tell your father how you treat customers? He began raising his blindfold, or I could punish you myself. That won't be necessary, Uzumaki-san called Inoichi. I don't know what you're about to do, but please don't. Flowers please, Yamanaka-san, Naruto said to Inoichi, and I'll go away. What kind? The clan head asked. Do you have a one-of-a-kind somewhere around here? Of course we do, Baka, Ino shouted. We have Ino. Inoichi shouted in disapproval. Right this way, sir. He turned to his customer. We have a small array of foreign flowers. Because of the customer service you received, he sent a disapproving look toward his daughter. You will be getting a large discount from my daughter pay. But Daddy. The look in his eyes told him to be silent. After Naruto paid, he left. Not this time, Naruto, I'll revenge. Kurenai. He found Kurenai inside of a food stand. She was with Asuma, who was smoking, much to her annoyance. Well, he already knows we're dating, and the others won't care. Still, I had better not draw too much attention. Hey Kurenai-chan, he greeted. Hello Naruto-kun, she greeted back. You remember my friend Asuma? She asked, hoping Asuma caught the message. Hello Asuma-san, Naruto greeted. How is your food? I hate you, Asuma stated, gaining a glare from Kurenai and a chuckle from Naruto. And when I leave you will love me, the blonde stated, then you will hate me again. I hear you had your first C-ranked mission, Naruto-kun. Kurenai asked, how was it? I have some gifts for you. He stated, reaching into his pockets. I hate this hinge, it's easier to just seal stuff. I got my C-ranked mission pay, so I brought you all something. Finally finding what he was looking for, he handed her two things. The first, a bouquet of desert roses, and the second, an all-expense-paid trip to the Leaf Lotus. She shouted, Naruto, how did you get this? The Leaf Lotus was the most expensive salon. They did everything from massages to nails and hair. Everyone who went there felt as if they bloomed twice. This would cost more than a C-rank mission. I collected a few bounties, he stated. It actually came from Gato, but let's just keep that a secret for now. Naruto, she smiled. You really know how to treat a lady. She sent a glare to Asuma, who looked away. I need to find the others. Bye. With a quick kiss he was off to his next time. Kurenai. Be quiet, Asuma, she ordered. Just eat your steak. Steak, he was eating dumplings. Looking down toward his plate he saw a perfect T-bone. I think I love that kid. He took the first bite. It was cooked just the way he liked it, perfection. He could taste the flavor and feel all of the maggots in his mouth. Wait a second. A second later he was emptying his stomach all over the floor. I think I hate that kid. Want me to kiss it better? Kurenai asked. Sure, then clean your mouth. Click click. Perfect. Hana. Hello pup, Sum greeted. Hana is in the back. Thanks, Sum-chan. Heading around back, Naruto saw her training with the triplets. Hello Naruto-kun, she greeted. Hello Inohaim. He pulled out a scroll. I have some things for you. I hope they're something nice. Hana stated. She knew it would be. They're coming from Naruto-kun after all. When she unsealed it, what she saw surprised her. Inside were the gauntlets from both of the demon brothers. They were in perfect condition. Naruto, these are amazing, she stated. Where did you get them? Dumb question, she thought, kicking herself. I had a crazy C-ranked mission. He stated. It's the same for the second gift. He handed it to her, an all-expense-paid trip to the Leaf Lotus. I'd love to hear all about it, she stated. How about you stay the night and tell me all about it? She used her most seductive voice. Then we can. No, came several shouts from the distance. The Inuzuka family was starting to appear and surround them. They were giving hateful looks to the blonde host. The one glaring the hardest was Kiba, Hana's younger brother and Naruto's old foe. He stepped forward and spoke. All member of the Inuzuka, I ask you, he shouted, do you enjoy your sleep? Do you enjoy your peace? Yes, they answered as one. Then we must keep that dope from sleeping with my sister, Kiba shouted, or we'll never get any sleep. Attack, someone shouted. Run pup, run, some shouted, I need you alive to give me my grand pups. She really wanted those grand pups. Shunshin. Darn it, Kiba shouted after him, Yugao. Naruto simply walked by a tree and stood by the bench by it. It was a nice day, but he had to move. Setting down a scroll, he continued on his way. He didn't look back as a hand stretched from concealment and grabbed the scroll. He didn't look back when he heard the gasp of surprise. Looks like someone likes the sword I got her, thank you, dead bandit with good taste. During his rage, he had found a beautiful sword but knew that he would never wield it. He didn't look back when he heard the feminine squeal. It looks like someone loves her spa trip. Click. Enko. And that is how a kunoichi seduces a man, stated Enko. Enko. I just asked you how you were and where you've been, stated an annoyed Irika. Now you've traumatized my female students long before they need to be. He looked to the class and you knocked the male out through nosebleeds, they'll probably be perverts now. Oh, I'm fine, she stated, and I was on a mission with Team 7. She leaned over the desk revealing a lot of cleavage to Irika. How are you, Irika-kun? Her voice had taken a very seductive tone. I'm fine, he stated, flustered. So you went on a mission with Team 7? Hey, that's our boss's team, stated Konohamaru. Boss? Enko asked. If you say the Uchiha or Haruno, then I will. No way. The shouted as one. Our boss is Naruto Uzumaki Naruchan, huh? She asked with a smile. Has he taught you anything? It was a simple question. To the core. It was a horrid one. The trio fell into a huddle. They were shivering not from the cold but from an untold fear. It seemed as if they were trying to push it to the back of their mind. It wasn't working. First rule of Naruto training, Udon shouted, do not talk about Naruto training. Moegi, what's wrong with them? Asked Irika. Moegi was the only one not panicking as much. She was shivering in fear, just not as much. Naruto, she stated as if it were obvious. Ah, Kud Enko, my Naru-chan has them terrified. She was so proud. Knock knock. Irika-sensei called Hanabi. There is a man with a large chakra supply at the door. It's him, Udon shouted in fear. He's come for us. He knew we were talking about his training, shouted Konohamaru. Now he stopped at all the horrid thoughts. Oh, don't stop on my account, a disembodied voice spoke. By all means, give me some ideas. Out the window. Moegi shouted. They jumped out. It didn't matter that they weren't on the first floor. It was better than Naruto catching them. Irika-sensei, Hanabi called. He's not at the door anymore. Then where is he? Enko asked. The K-corpse shouted. With them, she answered stoically. Class, stay here, the cried out in protest. Enko, if you would. Summoning jutsu. At her command, a large coral snake appeared. It was large enough to gobble up any of the kids in a single gulp, but small enough to stay in the room. I want you to make sure these kids stay in order, Enko ordered. If any of them so much as twitches outside of their seat or opens their mouth, she stared at the kids, eat them. Enko, Irika shouted, that's a bit extreme. Fine, she sighed, punish them as you see fit. She told the snake, grabbing Irika. Before he could protest, she jumped outside the window. The snake was alone with the terrified kids. It eyed them hungrily. Does anyone want to move? The snake asked. I might let a few of you go. The kids didn't so much as shake their heads. But they wanted to. The snake could wait, they were kids after all. They weren't costumed to sitting still for too long. Fields. When the two ninjas arrived, they saw a sight to behold. It nearly gave Irika a heart attack from sheer worry and annoyance. Enko was laughing as if she was seeing the funniest thing possible. Udon and Konohamaru were tied upside down by their feet. They trying not to move and put unwanted strain on the ropes. Under them were a pile of explosive notes. Moegi was just watching a distance away. And that's how my first C-ranked mission went, Naruto finished. Cool, Konohamaru stated, causing the rope to shudder. Naruto, what are you doing? Irika asked in a panic. I'm telling them about my mission, Naruto stated. Why are they upside down over a bunch of explosives? Irika asked. I'm just training them, he stated, by putting the fear of Kami in them. Why isn't Moegi getting the same treatment? Anko asked. You're not being soft because she's a girl, are you? There was a warning in her tone. No, he sighed. Every time I try something like this she just uses those eyes. He spat in hate. I honestly believe you women are taught that at birth. What eyes? This had Anko and Irika curious. Naruto drew a kunai and made his way toward Moegi. Puppy eyes jutsu. See, he pointed accusingly. Naruto, that is the dumb. You left one of Anko's summons with the kids for more than 5 minutes, Naruto stated. How many do you think are left? Irika was already running back to save as many of his remaining students as possible. If there was any left to save. He's such a worrywart, Anko stated. So what are you doing here, Naruto-chan? Anko asked. I came to give you this, what he had given his other Heims. Anko squealed in delight. She looked for Naruto, but saw nothing. All that was left were a few flower petals in his place. She was impressed. Can't wait to tell the girls about the mission. Wait, someone cut us down, shouted Udon. I have a better idea. Anko laughed. How about I help in your training? What? They didn't like her smile. It was too much like Naruto's. While you're upside down I want you to. She drew a kunai dodge. Chapter 9. Chunin Exams. It hasn't been much time since his mission to Wave. He's had to deal with his team very little since then. Naruto would show up for a mission and then go off training. He would train with his Heims like usual. When he wasn't with them he was with Team 9, minus Niji. Unknown to both Team 7, 9, and his Heims, he often trained alone. He wanted them to be proud of him. He's taken to learning the silent killing from Zabuza. He progressed greatly with the stealth skills he built over the years. Zabuza would consider him a prodigy if Naruto didn't hate the title. That didn't mean he didn't have to deal with them. Sasuke would demand fights, his secrets, his weapons and his power. He was usually ignored, which made things worse. Sakura was a usual lapdog to the Uchiha, making no effort to become better. Kakashi, he refused to call him sensei, usually allowed them to have their way and scolded Naruto for antagonizing his team. His skill has progressed regularly. For Naruto. Whatever passes as regular for Naruto is what happened. He wasn't Jounin level yet. He could however give any Chunin a run for their money. He was so skilled that the Hokage was confident enough to give him small solo missions. His Heims or Zabuza would even take him on the more dangerous missions. Now here he was, enjoying his ramen. He decided to enjoy the 2 hours it took for Kakashi to arrive. It gave Naruto more time away from Team 7. There was just one pest left. Actually, make that 3. Udon, Naruto called you the smart one, right? He asked no one in particular. If I have to tell you 3 rocks aren't square one more time. He let the threat hang. Haha, so you saw through our disguise, eh? Konohamaru asked. I expected nothing less from you. Naruto noticed smoke rise before their disguise blew up. From the explosion the young trio jumped out and each took a pose. Before they could say or do anything Naruto spoke up. If you do that intro then I'll get Anko to watch your class again. We weren't going to do that, he lied, were we? His friend said nothing. What are you 3 doing? He asked blankly. You're supposed to be at the academy. We broke out. Moegi cheered. You could teach us real stuff, not that boring stuff. And you promised to play ninja with us today, boss. Konohamaru stated. A ninja playing ninja, huh? Asked a horrid voice. You really are a baka. Hey boss, who is that? Konohamaru asked. Is she? Or he held out his pinky, earning a scowl from Sakura. Konohamaru, Naruto started. Do you like having your mind unbroken by horrid vision that would forever haunt you, nightmares eating at your very will? Yes, then don't associate me as being in a relationship with Pinky over there. He stated, pointing to Sakura. I'm stuck with her as my teammate and nothing more. This angered, said Pinky. This also hurt her. She didn't know when, but Naruto just seemed to drop her and move on. It made her miss the boy that followed her like a lost puppy. Now he was someone who else that scared her. Then it was back to anger. What do you mean, baka? Sakura asked. Do you think you're too good for me? I don't mean to brag, but my girlfriends aren't bad, mother. Hush your mouth. The K-Core shouted. I'm just talking about my Heims. We can dig it. So if Forehead isn't your girlfriend, who is? Moegi asked. Watch your mouth if you know what's good for you, Sakura threatened. We can take you, Konohamaru stated. It was true. Even without Naruto training them, they could take her. Easily. They were 8 years old. Izudon tried to reason, why don't we calm down and go get some ramen? I don't want that filth, Sakura shouted. You should not have insulted the ramen, Naruto stated, turning. He grabbed the kids and ran. Sakura felt something moist slither across her feet. Looking down, she saw a noodle moving as if it had a mind of its own. She didn't look back as she ran. Once Naruto was sure he was far enough, he sat the kids down. Hey boss, why do you eat so much ramen? Konohamaru asked. It was a simple question, too simple for Naruto. He loomed over them. Using just a touch of killer intent, just enough to scare them, he answered. It's the only thing that keeps me from craving human flesh. Plus, he answered them with a mouthful of fangs. I never did get to eat my fill today. He eyed the kids. Let's fix that. They ran like the wind. I was just going to ask if they wanted to eat some with me, he said as he stood alone. Ouch, that hurt, you little brat, a gruff voice stated. I need to teach you a lesson. Naruto happened to come around the corner just as the threat was made. What he saw was 2 sand ninja. He decided to watch and see what happened. Kankuro, stop, a more feminine voice shouted. What if he shows up? Don't worry, Temari, Kankuro stated. We have nothing to fear. Oh, that poor fool, he never met Naruto. Would you please drop him, Naruto stated coldly, making his presence known. And why should I do that? Kankuro asked. And who are you? I'm everything you ever were afraid of. Naruto stated. Ha ha ha, Kankuro laughed. You're nothing. He hated this form. He couldn't gather any fear through intimidation. Naruto raised his blindfold and looked Kankuro and Temari in the eyes. I think it's time I put the squeeze on you. From nowhere 2 giant snakes appeared. One latched onto Kankuro and began to squeeze him tightly. He was already turning blue. The second grabbed Temari. Unlike Kankuro, it was merely restraining her. And you should have dropped him, because I don't think your friend in the tree would be upset if you hurt the Hokage's grandson. Naruto stated. Also, Sasuke, you might want to dodge. Sasuke had been waiting in the tree for a moment to show Naruto up. The Uchiha learned that Naruto knew when danger was near. When he said dodge, it meant you dodge or die. Gaara, Kankuro called. I can explain. Shut up, Kankuro, Gaara ordered, or I'll kill you. Naruto stared at Gaara. He felt the fear radiating off of Kankuro and Temari from the simple death threat. It frightened them more than Naruto's skeleton hands that were crushing them. You with the blindfold, Gaara addressed Naruto. What is your name? Why do you care about him? He's just a nobody, Sasuke stated, stepping forward. I'm Sasuke Uchiha. Naruto Uzumaki, he answered, irritating Sasuke further. And you are? I am Gaara of the desert, he stated. These are my siblings Temari and Kankuro. Hello, they greeted. Mother wants your blood. Naruto walked forward toward the now named Gaara. It made Naruto excited. It meant he had a challenge. The stronger and braver the opponent, the more potent the fear. It seemed Gaara had the same opinion. Naruto dropped his henge and drew his sword. He flooded the entire area with fear. Gaara uncorked his sand and flooded the area with demonic killer intent. It almost feels like Kyuubi that made him even more excited. Neither of us could back down from a challenge, Naruto stated. Well, come on, desert punk. Yes, Uzumaki. Gaara gave a crazed smile. You can make me feel alive. Boss, Konohamaru called. Naruto turned his attention toward his little followers. They were on the ground in a terrified huddle and were having trouble breathing. The fear and killer intent was both crushing and drowning them at the same time. Their eyes constantly shifted between Gaara and Naruto. It seemed they were trying to see who to fear the most. This wasn't something they could handle. Even Sasuke had dropped to one knee. The other 2 sand ninja were doing a little better, just barely. Sakura was passed out. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have been so careless. Naruto stood over the Konohamaru corps, bringing them into a group hug. He relieved the pressure on them by releasing calming aura with his Genjutsu. It stopped the pressure from growing, but the damage was done. I forgot you 3 weren't ready for something like this. Using Shunshin, he took them to his private land. It wasn't the nearest or emptiest training ground, but it was the safest. Now he was sure that they would be okay in their vulnerable state. Looking down, he saw that they were covered in cold sweat. Their eyes were glazed over in a daze, but even then they wouldn't meet his. He removed his jacket and layered it with his strongest calming Genjutsu. As he laid it across he called his foxes. Bet you all forgot them. Be honest, they would protect them with the training Hana gave them. As he turned to leave, he felt Moegi grab his red shirt. Be careful, Konohamaru whispered. He gave them a smile as he shunshined away. When he returned he saw that Sakura was awake and like Sasuke, trapped in Gaara's sand. Temari and Kankuro, likewise, were still in his illusion. He addressed Gaara. Gaara, this is neither the time nor the place. Gaara stood there for a moment before his sand retreated. As he did this, Naruto released the other sand ninja. You are right, we shall continue later. They would do not die before then. As they turned to leave, Sakura thought it was time to put in her opinion. Hey, wait. What do you want? Temari asked. Even if we are allied, you need a reason to be here, she shouted. What are you doing here? Sakura, they are obviously here for the Chunin exams, Naruto stated. We're hosting them this time. He's right. Kankuro stated. Wait, before we leave, Temari eyed Naruto. Can I touch your whiskers? Sorry, he stated, that's only allowed by my Heims and Moegi when using those eyes. Wait, Heims as in girlfriends? Kankuro asked, as in more than one? Yes, and yes, you lucky bastard, Kankuro mumbled. I guess I'll just have to become one of your Heims, she purred, until Gaara kills him. They turned to leave. Dobe, how did you know about the exams? Sasuke asked. Even he didn't know. Who cares how I knew? Naruto asked. I'm going to finish my ramen. Forget that. Sasuke was silenced by Naruto's hand over his mouth. The blonde pointed behind Sakura. When they turned to look, they saw the monster ramen peeking from behind the fence, waiting. Never mind, reapplying his henge, he shunshined to training ground 7. After waiting 20 minutes, his team finally arrived. Baka, Sakura shouted, why did you leave us behind? Because I'm not very fond of either of you. Naruto answer. Before Sakura could start her screaming match, a puff of smoke appeared. You're late. Sakura stated. Hello, Kakashi, he returned. That's sensei to you, Genin. Kakashi stated. I'll call you sensei when you teach me something. Well, my cute little Genin, Kakashi started, and Naruto, he hissed, I have a surprise for you. You're signing us up for the Chunin exams, Naruto stated. How did you know? Kakashi asked. We ran into some sand ninja. Sakura stated, hoping to show Naruto up. Any trouble? He asked, looking accusingly toward Naruto. That Baka tried to show Sasuke up, she screeched. Not that it worked, because, well, here are you in trance slips, Kakashi stated, not wanting her to rant. Be there tomorrow. Next day, what took you so long? Naruto asked. He and Sasuke had been waiting for Sakura for over an hour. I had to look my best for Sasuke-kun, she stated. Let's go, said Uchiha ordered. They came into a block on the second floor. The hallway was under a low Genjutsu to weed the weaklings out, Naruto deduced. He saw Team 9 trying to enter the exams but were knocked back. I know they aren't weak, so they must be holding back. It was a good plan. He was doing the same while under his henge. Hey you, an arrogant voice spoke. Drop the Genjutsu, we're going to the third floor. You fool, Naruto snapped that Genjutsu was to weed out the weaklings. The Uchiha said before walking away, so this is your team, Uzumaki. I'm not impressed. Another arrogant voice spoke. You with the dark eyes, what is your name? It's polite to give yours first when asking for another's name. Sasuke spoke. The two arrogant boys had a stare off. Without any warning they made attempted kick toward each other. I repeat, attempted. Lee stopped both kicks from connecting with his bare hands. YOSH, the green-clad ninja shouted, we must save our flames of youth for when we need it. Hey Lee, Naruto greeted. 10-10, you two seem to be doing well. We are, Lee answered before turning to Sakura. You are Sakura Haruno, yes? Please go on a date with me, I will protect you with my life. No way, she shouted, you are too weird. Lee does not give up easily and was not to be denied. Lee stepped toward Sakura. He eyed her with such intensity that it made her nervous. What Lee did surprised everyone, even Naruto. He winked. It wasn't an average wink. Out of his eye a heart popped out. Sakura just barely made it out the way. Lee wasn't so easily deterred, he said wink after wink at her. She was barely able to dodge. I thought Lee couldn't use Genjutsu. Naruto stated. He can't, 10-10 assured. Then how does he? Better not ask. That right, Naruto. 10-10 spoke as if she understood his thoughts. The less you know, the better. Sasuke, Naruto called, can we leave her? That was all he needed to say. They had made it into a hallway before Sakura finally caught up. Hey you, Lee called, you are Sasuke Uchiha, right? I wish to fight you. Lee, this isn't the time or place. Be quiet, Dobe, Sasuke ordered. This won't take long. Yeah, Baka Sakura cheered. Sasuke-kun is going to crush that freak for trying to flirt with me. On second thought, Lee, crush him into the ground, Naruto ordered, but make it fast. Right, Lee shouted. Sasuke ran toward the green ninja, in fury. How dare that Dobe think this fool could beat me, and Uchiha, the elite. Leaf Hurricane. It was fast. Lee delivered a devastating spin kick to the Uchiha prodigy. The force behind the blow sent the Uchiha sailing back toward Sakura. Man, Lee, even with your weights you're faster than me. It was true, if Naruto took his weights off he was still slower and weaker than Lee. Naruto wasn't jealous. In fact, Lee was an inspiration to Naruto. I'll just have to work harder. Sasuke-kun, Sakura cried, are you okay? I'm fine, in fact I'm better than fine, he spoke. I've found a worthy opponent. Sasuke stood and took his stance. This time there was a small but major difference. He was using the Sharingan. So he unlocked it, huh? I need to be careful. Even though Sasuke couldn't copy his Genjutsu, he could copy his Kenjutsu. Naruto would have none of that if he could help it. The Uchiha charged again. This time with twice as much arrogance as before. Does he ever learn? Instead of giving another spin kick, Lee vanished. He reappeared under Sasuke, giving him a devastating kick to the chin. This sent the Uchiha soaring straight into the air. Not even a second later, Lee was behind the airborne Uchiha. He wouldn't. The bandages on his arm began to unfurl. He would. As Naruto prepared to act, he felt a familiar chakra signature make its way to them. That was worse. If Guy sees Lee, he'll go on about the flames of youth. Whenever they begin ranting, they always hug. Their hugs always involves the certain Genjutsu that even Naruto fears. I have to act fast. Lee, you are dimming your flames of youth, he felt so dirty. No more words needed to be said. As soon as Naruto spoke those taboo words, Lee cancelled his attack. Anything that could diminish the flames of youth was something he would have no part in. Now Lee was on the ground doing push-ups. I must reignite my flames before the exams begin, he stated. If I could not do that, then I will do 200 laps around the village, and if I cannot do that. Thankfully he couldn't continue. Guy made his appearance. Lee, my glorious student, shouted Guy, I see your flames are as bright as ever. Those eyebrows, Sasuke and Sakura thought, are they caterpillars? Oh, thank you, Guy-sensei, Lee shouted with tears. I lost to this buffoon. Hey you, what was that? Sasuke asked, why couldn't I follow it? My techniques are neither Genjutsu or Ninjutsu, Lee stated, I use only Taijutsu. So you are Kakashi's students, Guy spoke, has he mentioned me? Sakura noticed Naruto was trying to get her attention. He was motioning for her to say no. Unfortunately, Sakura had to be Sakura. You know Kakashi-sensei? Sakura asked. Guy got that twinkle in his eye. Yes, for we are eternal rivals. He shouted, just as Lee and Naruto are to carry on the flames of youth. Guy-sensei, it is an honor to carry your rivalry. Lee, Gai-sensei. Lee, Gai-sensei. Time to go, Naruto thought. However, there was one decision he needed to make. Should I let them witness the sunset? What kind of question is that? Of course he should. As silently as he could, which was pretty silent, he made his escape. Hello, Naruto, Kakashi greeted, not even looking from his book. Where are the others? You make this too easy. They are learning the wonders of the flames of youth. Naruto shouted. Kakashi nearly dropped his book when he heard what Naruto said. When he looked up, he said Blonde wasn't wearing his orange jumpsuit henge, instead he was wearing green spandex. His average blonde eyebrows were now 4 times larger in every way and pitch black. No, Kakashi whispered. Yes, Kakashi-sensei, he heard Sasuke call. I've finally found the power I've been searching for to kill my brother, he spoke. It comes from fanning the flames of youth. Sasuke was also wearing a green spandex with an Uchiha symbol on the back. His eyebrows were tremendous. No. If Sasuke-kun is following the flames of youth, then so am I, Sakura shouted. Youth. Naruto stood before her holding out a green spandex. It jumped onto her and began to move around her like slime before settling. Sasuke stood before her with a pair of large eyebrows. They jumped onto her forehead. They stood before their sensei and spoke as one. Join us, sensei, they chanted. Join us, and we can spread the flames of youth further. They held out a spandex and eyebrows. Assimilate, they chanted. Assimilate, never, he would never join their cause. The choice is not yours, sensei, they spoke. Join us or be destroyed. No. Yes, the green spandex jumped onto him and all went black. Sensei? Sakura asked hesitantly. Their sensei was lying on the ground in the fetal position, writhing in an awkward manner. It was an embarrassing sight, especially for his genin team. Sakura? It seemed her words reached him. Sasuke? They took a step toward him. This made him take a step back and draw a kunai. Sensei, what are you doing? Sakura asked. Before any of you take a step forward, he spoke. How do you all feel about the flames of youth? That stuff those green freaks were spouting about? Sakura asked. I hate it, she answered before stating, unless you like it, Sasuke-kun. He answered. I need a real answer, Kakashi shouted, pointing the kunai towards Sasuke in a threatening manner. Are you one of them or not? I think it's useless. Sasuke answered. Naruto just stared at Kakashi in amusement. It was absolutely hilarious. Now it was his turn. It's not so bad, Naruto answered. They just need to tone it down and stop hugging. Naruto. No, you know what, just get in there. Kakashi stated, going back to his book. Any words of encouragement? Naruto asked, are there any limitations? Do your best, Sasuke. Kakashi stated, the faster Sasuke is promoted the better. Wow, you could at least act like you're not playing favorites, Kakashi. A new voice spoke. Hello, Naru-chan, a second voice greeted. Hello, my name's Naruto, greeted to Enko and Kurenai. Naruto, when you go in there, don't hold back, Kurenai ordered. We want you to do your best. So, you're giving me permission to do whatever I want to pass? Naruto asked. Yep, Enko answered. Aren't we the greatest and hottest senseis ever? There was a moment of total blankness. It was the calm before the storm. All eyes turned toward Naruto. He had a smile on his face. It was no ordinary psycho smile, no. This smile small and looked calm. However, it put even Enko's most bloodthirsty and sadistic smile to shame. Ha 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 ha. Enko Kurenai spoke. What have we just unleashed onto those genin? I have no idea, Enko admitted. May Kami have mercy on whoever runs into Naruto. Because Naruto will have none. Oh, all the horrible fear Naruto spread. Chapter 10. Chunin exams, written exams. After Naruto started his laughing fit, everyone became terrified. Even Kurenai and Enko were a little freaked out, though Enko was experiencing pride as well. Sasuke and Sakura decided to head into the exams. Sasuke-kun, a shrill voice called as a blonde kunoichi jumped onto his back. Did you miss me, Sasuke-kun? Get off of him, Ino pig. Sakura shouted. Sasuke-kun is mine. Yeah right, just go to your lost puppy, Naruto. Ino spoke. Yahoo, a gruff voice called. We're all here. Troublesome, a lazy voice spoke. Do you have to be so loud? Hey we wer where I is na Naru to K-kun, a timid kunoichi asked. Hey, where is that baka? Ino asked. I need to give him a piece of my mind for getting me in trouble with daddy. I'm going to kill that dope. Hiba grumbled. Suddenly the entrance doors burst open with a loud bang. As everyone looked, they saw that no one there, just a long empty hallway. Then it happened. The lights at the very back began to flicker before going off completely. In the darkness, a pair of crimson eyes became visible from afar. It was all that was visible. They were very fox-like. Then the singing began. Total slaughter, I won't leave a single man alive. The eyes began moving forward toward the entrance, but there were no footsteps. The lights began to flicker off as the eyes came closer. The room began to fill with fear. La da di di genocide, la da di dud, an ocean of blood. The eyes were finally at the door, and still the only part of the stranger visible. The room was full to the top with fear. It only continued to grow. Let's begin the killing times. The first foot made its way through. From the shadows Naruto appeared. He was still under his henge, but his blindfold was off. He gave the room a full view of his fox-like eyes. Hey guys, what's up? Naruto, you troublesome blonde, Shikamaru sighed. You scared us half to death. Only half? Naruto asked. I'll do better next time. I wasn't scared, Kiba boasted. Then why are your legs shaking? Shino asked. Shut it. Hey, you guys should keep it down. A newcomer spoke. You're drawing a lot of attention. He looked to Naruto. Especially you freaked out a lot of people with that intro. It was true. Everyone had their eyes on the rookie 9. Naruto decided to have some fun. Well, the only thing to fear, he eyed them, is fear himself. He felt them grow anxious, so they should be afraid. They should be very afraid. Naruto began reapplying his blindfold when Ino opened her mouth. Baka, why are you wearing a blindfold? She asked. It makes you look like a bigger baka and it clashes with that orange monstrosity. You just don't understand that being a ninja isn't about fashion or looking good, Naruto spoke, plus a blindfold makes everything look impressive. Just look at that Rain ninja over there. Everyone turned to the genin squad from Rain. There was one with both eyes covered. It wasn't an exact blindfold, but it proved the point. The Rain ninja gave a simple nod and thumbs up. Someone understood. Well, maybe I could be of service to you all, Kabuto offered. I have information from my previous times here. Is this your second time, Kabuto-san? Sakura asked. No, it's my seventh, he admitted. Man, you must really suck, Kiba taunted, or these exams are extremely difficult, Shikamaru stated. Kabuto. Sasuke called. Do you have information on individuals? Yes, who would you like? Gaara of the Desert, Rock Lee. He paused. And Naruto Uzumaki. You know their names, he stated. That's no fun. He drew 3 cards and began to read the first. Rock Lee, a taijutsu expert with no known ninjutsu or genjutsu. His teammates are Tenten and Niji Hyuga. 25D ranks 21C ranks 1B rank, that's pretty impressive. Gaara of the Desert. His skill is unknown and his teammates are his siblings Temari and Kenkuro. 0D ranks 9C ranks 8B ranks 14A ranks. The scariest part is, Kabuto spoke, he's never even been scratched on a single mission. Naruto Uzumaki, a Genjutsu and Kenjutsu user. His teammates are Sakura Haruno and Sasuke Uchiha. aka the Mirage Blade, the hero of Wave Fear. 84D ranks 16C ranks 2B ranks 1A rank. There is no way that Baka did all those missions, Sakura screeched. You must have mixed them up with Sasuke-kun's stats. Actually, these are missions he's taken with his girlfriends. That's right, plural. He paused and watched the men's reaction. The Ice Queens of Konoha. He managed to fight off Zabuza the demon in the mist and turn him into a leaf ninja. Instill hope and save a village, getting a bridge names after him after killing near 200 bandits. And he was the one people believed was the dope. Many eyes were now on Naruto. This was like a fear buffet for him. However, some of that information is classified. I'll have to watch this guy. Hello, Naruto-kun, Temari greeted. Are you going to let me touch those whiskers yet? Hello, Temari-chan. Naruto returned the greeting. And no, still for my Heims only. He noticed off to the side that Kabuto made a comment on the sound genin. That was foolish, insulting an unknown enemy. All right, maggots, take a seat, Ibiki shouted. It's time for the first test to begin. After explaining the rules, which I will not do, they began. It was simple. If you looked underneath the underneath, you have to get the answers without getting caught. The only way to do that was to cheat. Unless you're Naruto. Proctor-san, Naruto called, can I have the answers? Everyone paused in their actions. They couldn't believe that someone would actually ask for the answers during a test. Yet here was Naruto, doing that very thing. Jounin lounge. Kakashi was banging his head on the wall in embarrassment and anger. How could one of his students do that to him? The answer was actually pretty simple. It was Naruto. Uzumaki Enko was happily laughing her head off. Kurenai had to admit it was a little humiliating but worth it to see the look on everyone's face. Plus, it was a technique no one had ever tried before. Did he really think Ibiki would just give him the answers? Asuma asked. Probably. Kurenai answered. Exam room, sure, he said, handing him the answers. All Jounin face faulted, minus Enko, who just rolled on the ground laughing. Ibiki was impressed. Naruto had to either be the bravest or craziest genin he'd ever met. May I have the answers as well? Shino asked. Ibiki was tempted to give him the answers, but he had a reputation to keep. No, Ibiki stated. Please. Shino tried. No, why did he give you the answers, Baka? Sakura asked. He should have give them to Sasuke-kun, not that he needs them. She went on ranting about how great Sasuke was. It was a nightmare. Does she ever shut up about the Uchiha? Ibiki asked. Not unless you threaten her. Naruto asked. Then you may have a good 1 minute. I'll give you the answers if you shut her up, Ibiki offered. Shino Haruno. Shino whispered. Be quiet, or my friends and will eat you. He allowed his insect to crawl around in a dramatic fashion for extra effect. They all believed he would. I believed he would. Not that he'd get much off her. Many thought there is no meat on her bones with the answers. Naruto quickly blew through the test, minus the 10th answer. Not that it matters, he thought. He had already figured out the meaning of the test. All right, are you all ready for the final question? Ibiki asked. The 10th question was a dangerous one. If they decided not to take it, then they were disqualified. If they did take it and failed, then they wouldn't be able to be promoted. Ever. The genin were already leaving the room. This guy is practically spoon-feeding me. The fear of failure was intoxicating, but it's still not enough. It's nowhere near enough. For those who are still here, Ibiki spoke. You pass. As he spoke those words, a black cloth broke through the window. It spread out to reveal that it was a sign. It read, "The second proctor, the sexy and taken Anko Mitarashi. I'm the proctor for the second exam." She spoke. Anko Mitarashi. Anko Ibiki sighed. "You're early. Again, you let so many though this year." Ibiki Anko pointed out. "Are you getting soft in your old age?" "No, but your little friend there," he pointed to Naruto, "is a wild shot." "I know. I'm so proud." She cheered. "Hi, I'm Naruto." "Hi, Nara-chen," she greeted as she moved to sit in his lap. "I saw your intro. It was amazing." "Thank you," he spoke. "I aim to please." "Oh, you do, Nara-chen," she purred. "You do. Before you to begin something, you probably won't stop." It was true. They wouldn't. "You need to remember you are the second proctor." Right, she had forgotten. "I want you all to follow me to the next exam spot. We are going to cut the remaining teams in half." Naruto raised his hand to ask a question. "Yes, Naruto, you will be allowed to literally cut people in half." He dropped his hand. "No, I'm not going anywhere with you," Sakura screeched. "Not after what you put me and Sasuke-kun through." Naruto Enko spoke. "If you would. Everyone, this room has been laced with exploding tags." Naruto spoke. "If the blast doesn't kill you, the collapsing building will." Bye. Both he and Enko went up in smoke. Everyone looked and saw that the room was indeed laced with explosive tags. Many were wondering the same thing. How did we miss him putting those up? They'll never know, and the explosives were set to go off at any second. Ibiki was the first out the window. He had no doubt in his mind that those explosives were real. The genin followed soon after. 5, 4, 3, boom. "Oh God, he's trying to kill us," a random genin shouted. All eyes turned to Naruto. Even Anko had to take a look at the blonde. "Naruto," she started, "those explosives were real." "Yep," he answered. "People could have died. Unfortunately they didn't," he spoke, "but now they'll fear me. You make me so proud."
Go support me on Patreon for more fanfiction that includes adult content as well. The link is in the description and like everywhere on my channel. Thank you for your views, likes, subscriptions, and overall support of my ongoing efforts to bring great content to all of you.